Chapter 22. This is Hinata's so-called new ninjutsu? Hyogo slightly sidestepped, and Hinata hit the ground. So dizzy. In order not to dampen his genius daughter's enthusiasm to develop new ninjutsu, Hyogo said indifferently, "The idea is very good, but the movement is too big, the attack speed is too slow. It is easy to give the enemy an opportunity to counterattack." And, after a pause, Hyogo added, "This move is actually very similar to the Inuzuka family's Tonya. But the defense is enough, but the penetration is not enough. Revolving Heaven defense is already perfect. If you want to develop new ninjutsu, it is better to try other moves." That's right. Hinata felt that she was really stupid. She actually developed such a useless move. Hinata was thinking before, when she learned the Shadow Clone Jutsu, she could let the Shadow Clone Jutsu throw the main body and use Revolving Heaven to hit the enemy. Hinata obediently said, "I know." Hyogo nodded and said, "Well, go practice by yourself." Yes. Developing a new ninjutsu is not something that can be done in one night. Although there are many new ideas, not every idea can be turned into a powerful move. Hinata left home and ran to the back mountain of Shinobu. It seems that she can't develop new ninjutsu at home. What if she doesn't control it well and accidentally destroys the house? After casually practicing Gentle Fist for a while, Hinata jumped to the branch of a tree and lay down to look at the moon, but in her heart, she was thinking about how to extend Gentle Fist into a stronger move. Like the Gentle Steps Double Lion Fist in the original manga, Hinata really doesn't like it. Still the same sentence, fighting with humans is okay, but fighting with monsters is not enough. Hinata's heart is very big. Or it can be said that Hinata, who is invincible in the ninja school, has begun to inflate. If I can't crush Susanoo with one palm, how can I be worthy of the title of Miss Hinata? Hinata condensed chakra on his fingertips and used his bare hands to release chakra. By 6-pulse godly sword. Hinata thought about it. If he wanted to develop the unique skill of Gentle Fist, the key was still on the empty palm. Not only did he have to think of a way to increase the power of his air palm, it would be best if he could also change the nature of his chakra. To put it bluntly, the empty palm was just condensing chakra in one's palm and releasing a chakra shockwave. However, if a large amount of chakra was compressed in the body, it could easily cause damage to the meridians. Half an hour later, Hinata was lying on a tree branch. His eyes were lifeless and empty, as if he was about to die. I'm so stupid. What is Naruto's story? His bloodline was invincible. In the original work, which one of them didn't have the bloodline of the Otsutsuki clan? How can ordinary ninjutsu compete with those powerful Kekii Genkai? Wanting to rely on Gentle Fist to break Susanoo with a palm strike, and make Kyubi unable to take care of himself with a finger strike was simply a pipe dream. It's okay to be a Jinchuriki. In the original work, Hinata's daughter, Sunflower, not only stunned Naruto with one palm, but even Nine Tails was stunned. Hinata couldn't help but feel envious. Hinata figured out that he still had to rely on Tenseigan for his future. Gentle Fist or something, it was simply not good enough. Since he couldn't develop a big move, Hinata could only figure out some small moves to play. Speaking of the small moves of Gentle Fist, Hinata couldn't help but think of the Gentle Step Double Lion Fist he created in the original work. Compared with the various big moves in the later period, Gentle Step Double Lion Fist looks like a ninjutsu played by children. But according to the official introduction, Gentle Step Double Lion Fist is to gather a large number of chakra in the hands, and then change the shape to form two fierce lion heads, and then launch an attack. Gentle Step Double Lion Fist not only greatly enhances the attack power and attack range, but also swallows all the meridians of the target. To put it simply, it is to gather a large number of chakra and change the shape. But if Gentle Step Double Lion Fist can be used as an empty palm, wouldn't it become a small 80 God's Air attack? After mastering the power of 6 paths in the future and upgrading the move, wouldn't it become a super big move, 80 God's Air attack? Hinata was a little tempted. The principle of this move is very different from traditional Gentle Fist. Traditional Gentle Fist is to put chakra into the enemy's body, thereby destroying the enemy's meridians and internal organs. According to Hinata's idea, his move not only has the characteristics of Gentle Fist, but also can cause large-scale physical destruction. It is better to act than to be tempted. Hinata jumped down from the tree, put his hands on his waist, and gathered a large number of chakra in his hands. Byakugan. In order to see the flow of chakra, Hinata also used Byakugan. Blue chakra overflowed from the acupuncture points on Hinata's hands. Hinata tried hard to control the chakra to attach to his fists, not letting the chakra spread. Huff, with a light breath, Hinata carefully controlled the chakra to change its shape. In fact, it doesn't have to be a lion. Hinata intends to condense chakra into the shape of a fist, so that it looks more domineering. This method of using chakra sounds simple, but in fact it is extremely difficult. Without the special constitution of the Hyuga family and Byakugan, it is impossible for an ordinary ninja to do it. Even a ninja of the Hyuga family needs to have super high chakra control. A huge chakra fist quickly formed, but it was a little blurry. It looked like a low-level version of the image. The next step is the most important. In the chakra fist, more chakra compression was injected, but it didn't make the chakra fist bigger. Hinata carefully controlled it, but he felt that it was difficult to control both hands at the same time. Hinata dispersed the chakra fist in his left hand, and focused on controlling his right hand. Feeling that his control has reached the limit, Hinata used the empty palm method to continuously compress the chakra fist in his right hand. Ha! Hinata shouted and used the empty palm. The chakra fist in his right hand instantly exploded, but its shape had already dissipated in mid-air. A large number of chakra hit the tree, and with a boom sound the tree was blown to pieces. Lack of control, lack of explosive power. Hinata humbly accepted his shortcomings and planned to make up for it before graduation. Well, in fact, this move still has a lot of room for growth. Hinata nodded with satisfaction. Although this move looks like a more powerful empty palm, condensing chakra in the body is different from condensing chakra outside the body. Condensing chakra fist outside the body. As long as Hinata has enough control, he can continuously compress chakra without worrying about hurting the hand's meridians. In this way, the power is naturally stronger. And condensing chakra outside the body can also add chakra's shape change, or integrate chakra's nature change. Chapter 23. Of course, if that's all, then it's nothing more than an enhanced version of empty palm, and its power is not even comparable to mountain break. And the chakra consumption of this technique is twice as much as that of Rasengan. In fact, the key point of this move is its growth, and at the same time, it has the characteristics of soft fist and steel fist. Not only can it attack the meridians and internal organs, but it can also cause physical damage. In addition, condensing chakra in the hand can also be used to fight the enemy in close combat, and can also use chakra fist at any time to become a long-range attack. If it's just maintaining chakra fist to fight the enemy in close combat, the consumption of chakra is actually not much. The main thing is that chakra control is needed to maintain the shape of chakra fist. What Hinata needs to do next is to continue to perfect this move, and improve his control of chakra, and the explosive power of empty palm in order to make a stronger attack. When the control and explosive power reach the limit, this move will be far more cost-effective than Rasengan. Next is the main point, and it's also Hinata's next compulsory course. Yin-Yang Escape. If he can integrate Yin-Yang Escape into this move, the power of this move will be even stronger. Compared to the 5 elements release, Yin-Yang Escape is undoubtedly more magical. It's time to name my unique move. Well, since Kagaya's unique move is called 80 Gods Empty Palm, then this move will be called 20 Gods Empty Palm. Just like 32 palms evolved to 64 palms, and then 128 palms. Hinata made a decision. She decided to use her own unique skill as a degenerate version of the 80 Gods Hollow Attack. This way, the power of this unique skill will increase. Anyway, no one will know. Hinata is rarely willing to practice diligently. This time he developed a new unique move. Hinata practiced outside until 10 o'clock before he was willing to stop. Control and explosive power can be practiced slowly. What Hinata needs to do now is to continue to perfect 20 Gods Empty Palm. The condensed chakra fist had to be like a real fist. Not only did it have the ability to attack the meridians and internal organs through the acupoints, it could also rely on the compressed chakra to cause huge physical damage to the enemy. The most important thing was to condense the meridians in the chakra fist and treat the chakra fist as an extension of one's own fist. This way, the chakra fist would have the effect of a soft fist. If he could integrate the yin-yang escape into it, this move would be similar to the Susanoo of the Uchiha family. Both of them were moves that materialized chakra to attack. However, Susanoo relied on his Mangekyosei power, while the 20 Gods Air Strike relied on Hinata's chakra control. It was very difficult but also very useful. Hinata also thought that when he has the Tensigen and the ability to land on the moon in the future, he would make a trip to the moon. With Hinata's face, he believed that Otsutsuki Tonari would definitely give him face and pass on his family's moves to Hinata. Maybe there would be a complete version of the 80 Gods Air Strike? Learning ninjutsu by landing on the moon. Who else in the ninja world could do it except Hinata? Since Otsutsuki Tonari has a crush on him, such a relationship can't be wasted in vain. It was already 11 o'clock when he returned home and took a shower. Hinata returned to his room and saw that the door was ajar, but the lights in the room were still on. Of course, the Hyuga family wouldn't be robbed. Hinata showed a smirk. Hua, this little rascal, didn't go to bed so late he would spank her in a while. Pushing the door open and entering the room, Hinata locked the door behind him. Humph. No one will come to save you even if you scream your throat out. Walking to the bedside, Hinata's soft heart seemed to be touched. Hua was 5 years old this year. Children were sleepy and couldn't stay up late. Hua had been waiting for Hinata. Waiting and waiting, she leaned against the bed and fell asleep. Although Hua's saliva soaked Hinata's sheets, Hinata didn't dislike Hua. Picking up Hua and laying her down on the bed, Hinata's action woke Hua up. Hua barely opened one eye and said incoherently, "Sister, you're back." Hinata poked Hua's little face and said with a smile, "Hua, go to sleep. Sister will play with you tomorrow." Hua was so sleepy that she fell asleep as soon as she closed her eyes. She didn't know how long she had waited for Hinata. Hinata lay beside Hua and fell asleep with her in his arms. Speaking of which, the 5-year-old Hua had already begun to cultivate. Her talent was very good, only a little worse than Niji. It's just that with Hinata, a super genius, even Niji wasn't enough, let alone little Hua. However, Hyogo wouldn't give up on Hua like he gave up on Hinata in the original work. Hinata in the original work was too useless, and although Hua's talent wasn't as good as the current Hinata, she was also a promising talent. If she worked hard, she could reach Hyogo's current strength in the future. Early the next morning, as soon as Hinata opened his eyes, Hua immediately rushed up. Her small head drilled into Hinata's arms and rubbed against him. She cried sweetly, "Good morning, sister. You smell so good." Hinata hugged Hua in his arms and smiled. "Good morning, Hua. You smell good too." Hua worshipped Hinata very much. At this time, she still didn't know the cruelty of the Hyuga clan's main family branch system. She usually liked to stick to Hinata. Moreover, Hyogo was now in his prime. His main family didn't need to determine a successor. Naturally, no one would put the caged bird curse on Hua. Anyway, there was no war, and Hyogo wasn't in a hurry. And although Hinata showed his talent, Hyogo and the elders in the clan have already determined that Hinata must inherit the Hyuga family in the future, but Hinata was still young and weak. What if he died young in the execution of a mission? Bad things don't work, good things work. Hyogo has also been avoiding mentioning the injustice of the main family in front of Hua. He tried to give Hua a happy childhood. Hua usually likes to listen to the people in the family talk about how her sister is a genius, and she also has a proud look. Last night, when she heard that her sister created a ninjutsu, Hua ran to Hinata's room. Thinking of the purpose of her visit last night, Hua looked up at Hinata and asked with admiration, "Sister, I heard that you created a ninjutsu. Can you show it to me?" "Of course." After saying that, Hinata looked at Hua's cute appearance and kissed Hua's big forehead. Walking out of the door with Hua, Hinata put Hua in the corridor and sat down. Hinata walked to the courtyard and said to Hua, "Little Hua, you have to watch." Clenching his right hand and condensing chakra on his fist, Hinata's fist immediately condensed into a blue chakra fist, which was the size of a basketball. The chakra fist was lifelike, the joints were clear, and even the nail on the thumb could be seen clearly. This was the result of Hinata's practice last night. Amazing! Huahua clapped her hands excitedly, and her face was full of worship for Hinata. Chapter 24. Watch carefully. Hinata shouted and punched the ground. With a bang, the ground cracked inch by inch, creating a deep pit with a diameter of 1 meter and a depth of 30 centimeters. Hinata was very satisfied. With that punch, Hinata didn't feel that chakra had consumed much energy, but he felt that it couldn't hold on any longer. Phew! Taking a deep breath, Hinata aimed at the rockery in the courtyard and punched the rockery with his bare hands. The blue chakra fist flew out of his hand at an extremely fast speed, almost hitting the rockery in the blink of an eye. Boom! The rockery exploded, and the mountain was almost crushed into powder. Hinata saw clearly that Chakra's fist had hit the rockery at first, but Chakra couldn't hold on any longer and blew up the rockery. Chakra's cohesion was still not enough. In Hinata's mind, this punch should have directly penetrated the rockery, and the parts that were penetrated would be shattered by Chakra's gentle fist, while the rest of the rockery wouldn't be affected at all. Only then could it be considered a success. There was still a long way to go. Hyogo, who was far away, was speechless. Finding that Huahua was missing early in the morning, Hyogo used Byakugan to look around, and found that Huahua stayed at Hinata's place last night. Hyogo was most satisfied with Huahua's hard work. If she lacked talent, she could make up for it with hard work, which was good. If Hinata was willing to work as hard as Huahua, he would be much stronger than he was now. Hyogo sometimes dreamed, that if Huahua's perseverance could be combined with Hinata's talent, it would be great. After finding Huahua, Hyogo wanted to take her back to his morning class, but he saw Hinata performing the new ninjutsu she developed last night. Hyogo still remembered that last night's heaven reversal bomb was rejected by him, and he even asked Hinata to try other moves. But he didn't expect that in just one night, Hinata would give him such a huge surprise. Hyogo's eyesight was very good, not to mention that he used Byakugan. Hyogo could almost see that Hinata's chakra fist wasn't just a huge collection of chakra. In the chakra fist, there were also some chakra threads that acted as the meridians of the human body. These chakra threads were connected to the meridians of Hinata's arms, allowing the chakra fist to exert the effect of a soft punch in close combat. This was supposed to increase by itself Chakra's attack, but Hinata actually used her bare hands to punch out the chakra fist. This talent, Hyogo was shocked. In just one night, if Hinata could develop a new ninjutsu every night, then wouldn't the Hyuga family's secret techniques be piled up in a room? Hyogo asked himself, even if it was him, it would be difficult to learn Hinata's move. The difficulty of this move wasn't to compress a lot of chakra, but to compress a lot of chakra to form Chakra's fist, at the same time, to create chakra threads in the fist to connect to the meridians of the arms. If there weren't these chakra threads, this move wouldn't be worth mentioning, it would only be slightly more powerful. But because of these chakra threads, Hyogo couldn't do it. Hinata's control of chakra was too strong. Good. Sister is so good. Huahua didn't know how to express her excitement at the moment. She could only run over and throw herself into Hinata's arms, using her big bear hug to express her admiration for her sister. Hinata reached out and caught Huahua and said proudly, "Huahua, how is it? Is this move good?" "It's too good. But this move isn't perfect yet. When you are my age, I will teach you, okay?" "Sister, you are so good." Mua. Hyogo walked over, and before he arrived he heard him ask, "Hinata, what is the name of this move? In your mind, what will it be like if it is perfect?" "Father, good morning." Hinata and Huahua greeted together, and then Hinata explained, "This move is called 20 Gods Air Attack. It requires a strong control of chakra to learn. If it is perfect, the condensed chakra fist will be the same as your own palm." "Father, think about it. If you use chakra fists with empty palms, no matter how much chakra you condense, it won't hurt your meridians, and the power will be stronger. Just like just now, if I don't use chakra fist, but use chakra fist with empty palms, wouldn't that be even more powerful? Also, chakra fist is different from the human body. It can be modified at will, And it can even use dozens of empty palms in one move, leaving the enemy with nowhere to hide. This was what the 20 Gods air attack looked like after it was perfected in Hinata's mind. In Chakra Fist, dozens of meridians and acupoints would be condensed, and then dozens of empty palms would be used in one punch, leaving the enemy with nowhere to hide. At this point, Hinata said dejectedly, "But this is only in theory. I don't have enough chakra, and I don't have enough control. It will take a long time for me to perfect it." This, Hyogo was shocked by Hinata once again. What did the Hyuga family lack the most? The Hyuga family lacked a move that could be used in group battles, especially a move that could cover a large area. The mountain break was very powerful, and if Hyogo used it, it would be enough to open up a path in the mountains. However, the mountain break was a move that attacked a single point, and if Hinata's 20 Gods air attack could be perfected, it could cover a large area. In particular, Hinata's idea was very good. By condensing chakra in Chakra Fist, he wouldn't have to worry about chakra hurting the meridians in his hand. The Hyuga family's gentle fist's biggest limitation was the meridians in the human body. Restricted by the weak meridians, it couldn't release a powerful attack. Hyogo could even imagine, if one day Hinata perfected this move, and used both hands to release the mountain break, maybe it would even be a group attack. Hyogo was confident that if he could learn this move, he might be able to reach the level of a Kage. But reality was often cruel. Even if the Hyuga family's control over chakra was much better than other ninjas, Hyogo would still find it difficult to learn this move. If the amount of chakra condensed in the Chakra Fist was too little, it would be very weak. If the amount of chakra condensed was too much, and he had to focus on controlling it, he wouldn't even be able to condense chakra threads in the fist to act as his meridians. Although it was very embarrassing to ask his 10-year-old daughter for the method of cultivation, for the sake of strength and the Hyuga family, Hyogo couldn't help but ask, "Hinata, how do you usually cultivate your control over chakra?" Hinata had really put in a lot of effort in cultivating his control over chakra. He could reach his current strength just by casually cultivating, not to mention that Hinata had put in a lot of effort. Hinata looked up at Hyogo and said slowly, "I cultivate according to what you taught me." Chapter 25. Climbing trees and treading on water are just the basics of practicing chakra control. As long as he graduates from the Ninja Academy, he will be taught these things. After completing the tree climbing and water treading training, all that was left was to hone his skills. He would need to train hard day after day to reach that level. The Hyuga clan has thousands of years of ninjutsu inheritance, and it can be said that they have a strong foundation. Hinata only needs to practice step by step. Hinata sometimes even wonders if there is a stronger gentle fist secret technique in the family, but because everyone is not qualified enough, no one can practice it. Perhaps the ancient books passed down from thousands of years ago in the family also recorded some stories about the 6 paths Sennin. After all, the Uchiha family has a stone tablet. The Hyuga family should have something. But not necessarily. When Otsutsuki Hamura went to the moon, he may have deleted a lot of information. Listening to Hinata's daily practice process, Hyogo can't help but sigh. Hinata's talent is really good. But he is too lazy. Although Hinata thinks that he has been practicing very hard. Compared to those who really work hard, Hinata's practice is like a game. Even Hanabi, who is 5 years younger, can't compare with him. This kind of talent is wasted on Hinata. What a waste of talent. Hyogo sometimes thinks that peace is a good thing or a bad thing. Hyogo still remembers when he was a child. At that time, the Second Shinobi World War had just begun. Although he was the heir of the family, if he didn't practice hard, he would also die on the battlefield. Now that Hinata doesn't have the pressure of survival, he even plays ninja games with his classmates. "Hanabi, it's time for morning class." "Yes, father." Hyogo took Hanabi and left. Before leaving, he didn't forget to remind Hinata, "Don't be late for school." School. Hinata was shocked and quickly ran back to the house to look at the time. It was already 7:45. Oh no, there's only 15 minutes left before class starts. Last night, Hinata didn't go to bed until 12 o'clock, so he naturally got up late this morning. When he got up in the morning, he and Hanabi tossed around on the bed for a while. He also showed her the ninjutsu he created last night, and also chatted with Hyogo for a long time. But I haven't had breakfast yet. Hinata clutched his empty stomach and thought to himself, it's too late to go to school anyway. I'm going to be late anyway. There's no difference between being late for 5 minutes and being late for an hour. After eating a delicious breakfast, Hinata took a stroll in his small courtyard to digest the food. Only then did he pick up his school bag and go to school. Before he left, Hinata didn't forget to instruct Hinata Takuma to find someone to fix up his small courtyard today. Hinata. Look at the time. Look at the time. What time is it now? Hinata turned his head and glanced at the clock on the wall. He said weakly, Teacher, it's only 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock? It's 8:57 now. It's almost 9 o'clock. Hinata tried hard to put on a cute expression and asked in confusion. Teacher, is there a difference between 8 o'clock and almost 9 o'clock? The unknown teacher was about to explode from anger because of Hinata. You're obviously late. It's fine if you don't admit your mistake, but you're actually acting cute. The most infuriating ones were the students in the class. Teacher, it's just a few minutes late. Hinata's grades have always been good. What's the big deal? That's right. And Hinata already knows her mistake. Teacher, just forgive her. Hinata is usually so obedient in class. She must be late because of something at home. Teacher, why are you being so unreasonable? Teacher, you're too much. How dare you bully Hinata? The unknown teacher was about to give up. Whose fault is this? Is there any justice? Is there any law? Are there any village rules? She was truly a pitiful teacher that made one's heart ache. Hinata secretly glanced at the unknown teacher. Don't you know that this is the world of Naruto? In this world, as long as you have good looks, you can easily clear your name. I'm just a few minutes late. If you don't forgive me, it will cause public anger. After all, I have good looks and popularity. I can be willful. But you can't. Shaking finger. The unknown teacher quickly recognized the general trend and decided to let Hinata off this time for the sake of the whole class. However, as the head teacher, in order to save his face, he had to find a way out for himself. After thinking about it, the unknown teacher asked with a kind face, Hinata, did you come late because of something at home? See, this is what it means to be a good person. He didn't even say that she was late. Hinata was just a little late. Of course, he can't say that he independently developed a new ninjutsu. Hinata thought about it and explained, I had a dream last night. I dreamt that teacher was giving a lecture, so I didn't dare to wake up. That's why I got up late. To put it bluntly, he just slept in. The unknown teacher's mouth twitched a few times and said in a strange tone, Hinata, Sen really loves learning. Even in your dream, you can dream that teacher is giving a lecture. Since that's the case, then go back to class. Thank you, teacher. Hinata looked at the writing on the blackboard. The teacher was still teaching the same content as yesterday. Hinata had already learned it. Running to the last row, Hinata sat next to Choji. He put his bag on the table to block the teacher's view and whispered to Choji, Choji, I brought new snacks today. Choji's eyes lit up. He took out a bag of chips and said to Hinata, Hinata, let's exchange snacks. Hinata nodded his head in satisfaction. A person will soon get tired of eating snacks, but if you fight with others, you will feel that it's very delicious. Choji can be considered Hinata's only foodie friend. Kacha, Kacha. Looking at the class eating snacks, sleeping, playing with the dog, staring at the handsome guy, but no one was seriously listening to his lecture. The unknown teacher felt that he really couldn't take this class anymore. The students in the class were either young masters or young ladies of the ninja clan, or the friends of these young masters and young ladies. They can still say a few words, but they can't beat them. If they were forced to stand outside the classroom as punishment, they would immediately sneak out to play. I'll endure. The unknown teacher was well versed in the experience of ninja. He pretended that he didn't see the absurdity in the classroom. He continued with his lecture, and the students below were fiddling with their own things. The small class was divided into two separate worlds. Hinata felt that the class was in chaos, and it was affecting his reading. Hinata glanced at the teacher with dissatisfaction. He whispered to Shikamaru, Shikamaru, This teacher is really irresponsible. The class discipline is in such a mess, and he doesn't know how to control it. Shikamaru, unknown teacher. Shikamaru couldn't help but roll his eyes. Whose fault is it that the class is in such a mess? Not wanting to talk to Hinata, Shikamaru turned over and turned his head to the other side and continued to sleep. Whose fault is it that the class discipline is in such a mess? Chapter 26. Naughty brats from the same class. I'm so angry. The unknown teacher really had nowhere to vent his anger. The students in the class all had powerful backgrounds, and each of them had amazing talent. Whether it was exams or regular tests, the results of the naughty brats were worthy of the name of the elite class. Leading such a class was a blessing, but at the same time it was also cruel. The blessing was that in front of his colleagues in the ninja school, in front of his friends outside the school, he could proudly show off how talented the students in his class were. In the future, they would definitely achieve great achievements. Maybe the next Naruto would come from his class. And the cruel thing was that his dignity as a teacher was trampled on by a group of naughty brats. But these things the unknown teacher couldn't tell others in order to save his face as a teacher. Anger. Tired. After class, the discipline in the class was even more chaotic. A large group of girls surrounded Sasuke and stared at Sasuke. They didn't know what was so good about him. Hinata suddenly had a hint of understanding. The future Sasuke, except for when he was facing Zabuza and Orochimaru, would be able to maintain a calm demeanor at all times. Could it be that he trained in the ninja school? Hinata dared to touch his own conscience, or touch Ino and Sakura. If he was surrounded by a large group of boys all day long, he wouldn't be able to resist the urge to cut the grass. Hinata put the extracurricular books in his bag. The class was too messy, and he really couldn't read it anymore. But the teacher was irresponsible. Ring ring ring. The class bell rang, and a group of naughty brats returned to their seats. The unknown teacher opened the door, and walked into the class with a stack of papers under his arm. Hinata looked up and glanced at the teacher. He glanced again. What was that? Papers? The unknown teacher sneered. Do you really think that an adult like me can't deal with a group of brats? Today I'll let you see the horror of a teacher. Answering questions, doing papers, and taking exams. These three things will make the naughty brats behave. Bang! Slamming a thick stack of papers on the desk, the unknown teacher swept his gaze across the entire class. Seeing that every single one of the brats had a stunned expression on their faces, he couldn't help but feel slightly proud of himself. Seeing that you're not feeling well, I feel much better. Today, I'll let you all experience the power of being a teacher. This semester is about to end. In the next 3 days, our class will have a mock test, so that you can integrate what you have learned before the final exam. Damn it, I still have to take the exam for 3 days in a row. Students in the first row, please help distribute the papers. As soon as the unknown teacher finished speaking, Sasuke was the only one left in the first row. The rest of the students sat in the second row. Sasuke and the unknown teacher. The unknown teacher roared. Then I'll have to trouble the students in the second row to help me distribute the papers. In the end, the papers were distributed to the students. Hinata looked at the time. It was already past 10 o'clock. There was still an hour and a half before lunch break. But looking at the number of questions on the papers, not to mention an hour and a half, even 2 hours wouldn't be enough to finish them. Damn it. This bastard teacher either wanted to drag the class or make everyone fail the exam. Moreover, many of the questions were very difficult. It wasn't something that a group of ninja trainees who had yet to graduate could answer. Hinata sighed, but he didn't have any good ideas. He could only take out a pen and start answering the questions. Shikamaru suddenly said in a low voice, Hinata, an hour and a half won't be enough to finish these questions. You start from the back, and I'll start from the front. Smart. Hinata made an okay sign. Shikamaru was indeed Shinobu's future military advisor. He came up with a solution so quickly. Hinata's mood instantly improved. The higher-ups had policies, and the subordinates had countermeasures. Wasn't it just doing papers? How difficult was that? Sha. Time always passed quickly during the exam. Hinata quickly finished his part, and looked up at the teacher. This guy was really staring at every student as if he was afraid that someone would cheat. Byakugan. Bang! The unknown teacher slammed the table and roared, Hinata! If you dare to cheat with Byakugan, you will get 0 points. Hinata! Oh, hashtag. The Chunin exam is a lie. You can't even play cards with Byakugan. What's the use of Byakugan? Hinata was scared and immediately closed his Byakugan. He lowered his head and didn't dare to speak. What should I do? Hinata whispered to Shikamaru. Shikamaru's sitting posture was very upright, like a good student, but the shadow under his feet was secretly connected to Hinata, controlling Hinata to finish the answer. The ninjutsu of the Nara family was really useful. The teacher couldn't find it at all. But what about Shikamaru himself? The shadow technique couldn't help Shikamaru see Hinata's answer. Shikamaru whispered, Use a mirror. Amazing. Hinata secretly gave a thumbs up. He first put the paper up to cover his face, pretending to check the paper, and then took out a mirror from his bag and passed the answer to Shikamaru. Today's lucky god was definitely the little fatty Choji. This guy sat between Hinata and Shikamaru and finished the whole paper. Ring ring ring, the bell rang, and the unknown teacher sneered. Students who haven't finished the paper are not allowed to leave the class. Continue to do the questions. Don't think that just because it's a test, when your results come out, I will inform your parents. Inform your parents. The teacher's second trick to deal with the naughty kid was also a killer move. Hinata. Humph. I'm done. Shikamaru. I'm done too. Choji. I'm done too. Hinata walked to the front of the classroom and put the paper on the desk. Humph. Hinata glanced at the teacher with disdain and walked out of the classroom arrogantly. Shikamaru and Choji followed behind Hinata. Come again if you have the ability. I don't believe that you won't be tired grading papers. Let's see if it's more tiring for us to do the papers, or if it's more tiring for you to set the questions and grade the papers. If you have the ability, go on until the end of time. There was a poem that was well written. The spring silkworm's silk only ends when it dies, and the candle's tears only dry when it's ashes. Let's hurt each other. After walking out of the classroom, Hinata said to Shikamaru and Choji, I'm so hungry, let's eat first. Okay. Shikamaru and Choji usually brought lunch boxes from home, which were specially prepared for them by their mother. When they came in the morning, they put the lunch boxes in the school's pantry to keep it warm, and came back at noon to take it away and find a quiet place to eat. But Hinata was different from them. Although Hinata's lunch was also prepared by her family, it was still a bento. But it was prepared by the family's chef at noon every day. And then the elite ninja Hinata Takuma was sent to the ninja school to deliver to Hinata. This was the style of a young miss. Chapter 27. Spring went and autumn came, and Hinata spent another year in the ninja world smoothly. Every day he ate, drank, and played. Occasionally, he practiced seriously and continued to perfect the 20 Gods air attack. His life was free and easy. This year, 3 major events happened to Hinata. The first one was a bit difficult to talk about, and Hinata didn't want to say it. After all, Hinata was 11 years old this year, and he was beginning to master some knowledge. Hinata still remembered that just a few days ago, his mother Hyuga Minako sneakily called Hinata to her room and told him a lot about girls' little secrets and what he needed to pay attention to in the future. Let's not talk about the past, and we have to respect Hinata's opinion and keep some things secret. The second major event was that Hana and Hinata had been estranged a lot recently. After all, she was born in the Hyuga family, and she knew a lot of things. For example, the cruel policy of the main family and the branch family. Hinata couldn't do anything about it. Hinata couldn't act like Xiaohuahua, who suddenly lost her talent. The Hyuga family still relied on Hinata to inherit. Moreover, Hinata couldn't tell Hana directly that he would be very powerful in the future. So powerful that he could change her fate with a word. Hinata could only treat Hana better and let her temporarily accept the fate of the branch family. When Hyogo is old and has to choose an heir, he will give her a surprise. As for the third major event, it made Hinata really feel that the plot was approaching, and the ninja world was about to be in chaos. It turned out that the class teacher who taught Hinata for 4 years was suddenly transferred out of the ninja school. And it was said that he was going to perform a secret mission. And the person who took over the position of the elite class teacher was Haruka. With Haruka transferred to the elite class as a teacher, Naruto, who was at the bottom of the class, naturally also tested into the elite class. Naruto's arrival made Hinata realize that there were only 2 years left before he graduated. Happy times are always so short. What made Hinata depressed was that Naruto didn't pester Sakura, but stayed by his side all day long. What the hell? The Smile Card Master Ball was really powerful. After so many years, Hinata even forgot that he had caught Naruto, but Naruto still remembered. If it was just a small follower, it would be fine, but Naruto was obviously plotting against Hinata. However, Naruto was not only the child of destiny, but also the reincarnation of an immortal, and the future 7th Hokage. Hinata didn't care about the first 2 identities, but the 7th Hokage. Thinking that she still had to work under Naruto in the future, Hinata could only endure all this silently. Hinata had big ambitions. In the future, not only did he want to inherit the Hyuga family, but he also wanted to be the 7th generation Naruto's advisor. The position of Naruto's advisor satisfied Hinata's great dream of more money, less work, closer to home, high position and light responsibility. Moreover, his boss was an idiot, laughing emoji. How beautiful. He didn't have to go out of the village and risk his life to carry out missions, and he could even influence Naruto's decisions. The village's government could be handed over to Naruto, and Hinata could hide behind the scenes and enjoy the glory and benefits that came with his position and power. Think about it, when Naruto became the 7th generation Naruto, he would be so busy that he wouldn't even have time to go home. And Hinata? He would just stay in the Hyuga family and reminisce about the glorious days of his youth. Whenever something big happened in the village, Hinata could go over and hold a meeting, give a speech, and give this and that. What a salted fish, how impressive. Hinata's future was directly linked to Naruto, so Hinata didn't dare to be disrespectful to Naruto. But his future boss had bad intentions towards him. Hinata also had a headache. He wouldn't encounter the unspoken rules in the future, right? If Hinata had a headache because of Naruto, then there was one person who had a bigger headache than Hinata. That person was the 3 generations Naruto, who held the power of Shinobu. In order to train Naruto, the 3 generations Naruto was worried sick. In more than a year, it will be the time for Naruto's graduation. In order to train Naruto better, as early as a year ago, the 3 generations Naruto transferred Kakashi from the Anbu. Kakashi must take Naruto, because only Sharingan can control 9 tails. In this way, Sasuke must be in the same class as Naruto, because in the whole Shinobu, only Kakashi has Sharingan, and only Kakashi can guide Sasuke to use Sharingan. So what about the other person? The 3 generations Naruto has a bad taste. He thinks that a man will be more willing to show off in front of the woman he likes. For example, Jiraiya and Tsunade bordered Soil and Rin. If the class is divided according to this idea, then Hinata must be in the same class as Naruto and Sasuke. In the 3 generations investigation, Hinata should be the first person of the same age to be friends with Naruto, and Naruto's feelings for Hinata are even more extraordinary. And there seems to be some inexplicable relationship between Sasuke and Hinata. So Hinata can play the role of a lubricant between the two. But Hinata's surname is Hyuga, and the Hyuga clan is now the most powerful clan in Shinobu, and even the entire Shinobu world. Although the 3 generations is not worried about the Hyuga clan's thoughts, letting the Hyuga clan get too close to the 9 tails Jinchuriki is not a good thing. Originally, the 3 generations wanted to put Hinata, Inazuka Kiba, and Aburame Shino in the same class and set up a special reconnaissance class. He even chose the Jonin Sunset. Sunset is Asuma's lover, and the 3 generations wanted Sunset to be the Jonin of this group. Obviously, they have their own selfish reasons. But the Hyuga family will never agree to this. Sunset has just been promoted to Jonin, and her strength is not enough, and she is a Genjutsu ninja. How can the Hyuga family rest assured to let Sunset take care of Hinata? So the person that the 3 generations Naruto hates the most at this moment is Hyogo. Originally, according to the rules of the Hyuga family, after Hinata graduates, she will be directly called back to the Hyuga family to train herself. Why do you want her to go out and do missions? When Shinobu built the village, the first generation Naruto personally promised the Hyuga family that during non-war times, the Hyuga family members don't have to do missions. But Hyogo's reason is also very good. In order to better integrate the Hyuga family into the village, and in order to let Hinata grow up faster, not only will he arrange 2 strong teammates for Hinata, but he will also arrange a strong teacher for Hinata. What do you think is going on? The current Hinata is not the waste young lady that was abandoned by Hyogo in the original work. Now Hinata is a real young lady and heir. Even in the original work, after Hinata was assigned to Sunset's group, Sunset specifically visited Hyogo. The Hyuga family's status in the village is still very high, and their strength is also very strong, especially the role of the Hyuga family in the war. It is not comparable to the Aburame family and the Inuzuka family. What a headache! Chapter 28. Sitting in Naruto's office, Naruto of 3 generations was peeping at Naruto's class while massaging his temples. If he wants to meet the requirements of the Hyuga family, Hinata's teammates can't be ordinary ninjas, they must be the strongest among the Jounin. At the same time, the only ones who meet these 2 conditions and still have time to train genin are Kakashi, Asuma, and Akai. Akai doesn't need to be considered. Although he's a taijutsu-type ninja, he's a steel fist-type ninja, which is very different from soft fist, so he can't give Hinata too much guidance. Asuma wants to lead the Ino Shikacho combination, which was arranged by 3 generations a long time ago. It doesn't matter if there's a scout class or not, but the Ino Shikacho combination must not be separated. So, at present, only Kakashi is the most suitable. And the person that Hyogo is optimistic about is probably Kakashi. Kakashi has just been transferred from the Umbu, and was arranged by 3 generations to lead the newcomers, so Hyogo immediately asked 3 generations. Kakashi is not only strong, but he's also the disciple of Naruto, the real successor of Naruto. If you don't count Shimura Danzo, in the younger generation of Shinobu, the most promising people to inherit the position of Naruto are Kakashi and Asuma. 3 generations Naruto's selfishness is actually quite heavy. In order to support Asuma, he not only gave him the Ino Shikacho combination, but also gave the direct descendants of the Hyuga, Inuzuka, and Aburame clans to Asuma's lover Sunset. But among ordinary ninjas, Kakashi is actually more popular as Naruto. Hyogo let Hinata follow Kakashi for political reasons. Whether Kakashi becomes Naruto or not has nothing to do with the Hyuga family, but the Hyuga family must become part of Naruto's faction. Hyogo's idea is actually very good. If there's no Naruto, 3 generations would have already done this. Thinking about it, the third suddenly figured it out. Naruto and Hinata have been together for a long time. Even if the 2 don't become teammates, their relationship in the future won't be broken. In this case, it doesn't matter to arrange them in the same team. It was just that teammates often had to live and die together, and they had to leave their backs to their teammates. It was easier to establish bonds between life and death. In fact, 3 generations carefully think about it. The Hyuga family want nothing more than self-preservation. Since they want to protect themselves, they won't have the idea of seizing power. With this in mind, 3 generations felt relieved. Hyogo is also worried about Hinata and the family. Hinata's talent is too strong. Once Hinata becomes a real Kage-level powerhouse in the future, it's inevitable that the elders in the family will have some ideas. Some of those elders are older than Shinobu when the village was founded, and they don't have deep feelings for Shinobu. Once there's hope of seizing power, maybe Hyogo will become the next Uchiha. Hyogo doesn't want the Hyuga family to be divided into 2 factions. If Hinata becomes part of Naruto's faction, although it's inevitable that he will be ambitious, but he can compete for the position of Naruto through proper means, instead of plotting a rebellion like Uchiha. With this decision, 3 generations no longer pay attention to Naruto, but turn the lens of the crystal ball to see what Hinata is doing. Well, doesn't Hinata always like to sit in the first row? 3 generations Naruto looked around the class, and finally found Hinata in the last row. At this moment, Hinata is fighting with Choji for snacks. Snacks must be fought for to be delicious. Sure enough, as the rumors say, Although his talent is strong, his character is a bit unreliable. Although Hinata, the little butterfly, has been acting like a salted fish, the butterfly's wings finally flapped. And the first person to be affected by Hinata is Sakura. Although Sakura is from a civilian family, her theoretical results are better than Sasuke's, so 3 generations naturally pay attention to the genius from a civilian family. In the original work, even Kakashi once said that Sakura is very suitable for learning genjutsu. Letting Sakura follow Sunset, the future shinobu should have a powerful genjutsu ninja. In the original work, although 3 generations arranged Sakura in Kakashi's group, the original idea was to let her act as a lubricant between Naruto and Sasuke. After all, the 3 of them are in a love triangle relationship. But once Naruto ignores Sakura, 3 generations naturally won't pay too much attention to Sakura. 3 generations Naruto happily decided on the grouping of Naruto's class. And the things that have been worrying about for many years can finally be put down. After all, this class not only has 9 Tails Jinchuriki, but also Uchiha's orphan. Even the others are the heirs of the Shinobu Ninja clan. If all parties are not satisfied, 3 generations Naruto's office will soon be lively. Hinata obviously didn't expect that his arrival would squeeze Sakura out of Class 7, but this is also a very reasonable thing. Whether it is considering the thoughts of Naruto and Sasuke, or considering the attitude of the Hyuga family, 3 generations Naruto had to arrange it like this. Hinata was eating snacks with Choji at the moment, but in his heart, he was thinking about the future. It's already the 5th grade, and Hinata has to think about his future. I can't be so heartless anymore. In terms of strength, Hinata is actually very satisfied with himself. Even if he doesn't work very hard, Hinata's strength is still close to that of a jonin at the moment. When he graduates, Hinata is confident that he can fight against a jonin. Of course, this refers to ordinary jonins, not elite jonins like Kakashi. What Hinata lacks is not hard strength, but combat experience. As long as he goes through a few real battles, Hinata's strength will quickly improve. Hinata's chakra is very large, and under the observation of the Byakugan, Hinata's chakra is only a little bit worse than Hyogo. It is estimated that next year, he will completely surpass Hyogo. As for the control of chakra, Hinata is far stronger than Hyogo. In terms of gentle fist, Hinata has learned all the secret techniques of the family, and he has created 20 Gods Hollow Strike. 20 Gods Hollow Strike has been preliminarily perfected with the help of the huge amount of ninjutsu data of the family. Hinata can not only condense chakra fist with both hands, but also condense the meridian system of 4 hands in the 2 chakra fists. In other words, Hinata can use 8 empty palms or 4 mountain break strikes in an instant. Especially the mountain break strikes, once used, it will attack in a fan shape in front of Hinata. Unless the opponent can go to the sky or go to the ground, it is impossible to avoid this move. In the past 6 months, Hinata has fought with Hyogo more than once. Although he can beat Hyogo a little bit, the one who loses in the end is always Hinata. According to Hyogo, Hinata's gentle fist can't be used perfectly in actual combat. Whenever the opponent changes moves, Hinata doesn't know how to deal with it in a short time. And once the crisis approaches, Hinata will always unconsciously panic. These shortcomings are fatal in a real battle. Chapter 29. So unknowingly, I've already become so powerful. Thinking of his current strength, Hinata couldn't help but feel proud. Even Hasadama and Madara didn't have such strength at the age of 11. Don't look at how Kakashi became a jonin at the age of 12, and Itachi Uchiha became the captain of the Umbu division at the age of 13. But they may not really have the strength of a jonin at this age. Perhaps it's because of the attribute sage, which makes them have the quality of a jonin. And what's the price of rapidly improving strength? Kakashi's potential has been exhausted, and he is still only an elite jonin. Although there is a lack of training after the death of Bordered Soil, and there is the limitation of Sharingan, Kakashi's strength is undoubtedly not worthy of his reputation. Itachi Uchiha is not to mention he is seriously ill, and his eyes are almost blind. Thinking of this, Hinata became more and more satisfied with himself. Born in the first shinobi clan with a 1,000-year-old inheritance, has the highest potential of dojutsu, outstanding talent, top-level strength, and appearance is even better. A cute little face attracts countless fans. Hinata took out the mirror and looked at himself, and was deeply fascinated by himself in the mirror, and couldn't help but sigh. How can you be so good? The class. Irika was originally giving an impassioned lecture on the podium, and the students below were listening drowsily. Just as Irika was gasping for breath, a very narcissistic voice suddenly sounded in the class. How can you be so good? If this sentence was said to others, it would be a compliment to others. But if this sentence was said to himself in the mirror, how narcissistic is this person? We have never seen such a shameless person. Hinata soon found that something was wrong in the class. It seemed that there was no sound. Is Irika not teaching? Hinata looked up in a daze and found that the eyes of the whole class were focused on him. Hinata. Choji didn't eat potato chips, Shikamaru didn't sleep. Even Sasuke couldn't attract the attention of Ino and Sakura. Everyone's eyes were looking at Hinata. Ahem. Irika coughed softly and said loudly, well, don't look back, it's class time, everyone look at the blackboard. Hinata was still a little confused, and asked Shikamaru in a low voice, Shikamaru, what happened just now? Ahem. Shikamaru looked at Hinata and asked in a low voice, what did you just say, don't you remember it? Hinata shook her head and asked, what did I just say? Shikamaru pointed at the mirror and said, previously, you looked at the mirror and said, why are you so outstanding? Hey, Hinata, you're not under Genjutsu, are you? Hinata's face turned red. What illusion? I was just being narcissistic. But shouldn't I say it in my heart? Why did I say it out loud? Hinata wanted to find a hole to hide in. How could he face others in the future if the truth of his narcissism was found out by the whole class? There was no other way. Hinata gritted his teeth. It seemed that he could only use his fists to stop the rumors from spreading. Hinata tore a piece of paper from his notebook and wrote, whoever dares to talk about today, don't leave after school. Pass it to the next person. After writing, Hinata passed the note to Choji, and Choji passed it to Shikamaru. Hinata. Can't deal with you bunch of kids? You're all laughing your ass off. Finally, the note was passed to Irika, and then he returned it to Hinata. Irika also swore that he would never tell anyone about it. Then this matter spread from 1 to 10, 10 to 100, and everyone promised that they would never talk about it. In the end, all of Shinobu's ninjas knew about it. The eldest daughter of the Hyuga family, the future successor of the Hyuga family, is an extremely narcissistic girl. She looks at herself in the mirror every day, and is deeply fascinated by her reflection in the mirror. These 2 days, Hinata felt that the way his father, Hyogo, looked at him was getting weirder and weirder. After Hinata found out, he was secretly vigilant. Could it be that my father feels that I'm getting stronger and stronger and threatening his position? He's worried that I will one day seize his power, so he wants to make the first move and kill me. Hinata, who was poisoned by the palace drama in his previous life, was on guard against Hyogo these 2 days. After a few days, Hyogo suddenly called Hinata to his room. Sure enough, Hinata changed into a set of loose clothes and tied 2 ninja tool bags to her body. She also prepared shurikens, kunai, and even poison. Opening the door, Hinata respectfully said, Father. Hyogo nodded slightly and said, sit down. After that, Hyogo picked up the teapot and poured 2 cups of tea, and slightly pushed the teacup to Hinata, and lightly said, this is this season's new tea, try it. It's not poisonous, right? Okay. In fact, the above was just Hinata's self-entertainment. Hinata didn't believe that Hyogo would plot against him. Holding the teacup, Hinata elegantly tasted the tea like a noble lady. Hyogo looked at Hinata and softly said, Hinata, actually you can act like normal. Hinata put down the teacup, slightly nodded and said, Father is joking, your daughter is also like this. Do you think I didn't find out the truth about you and Choji stealing snacks? If it wasn't for the fact that Hyogo didn't dare to question his wife, he would have suspected that Hinata has the blood of the Akimichi family. The main thing is that Hyogo is confident. The men of the Akimichi family are all fat. How can they be charming? Hyogo faintly smiled and slowly said, Hinata, you are already 11 years old this year. The future of the Hyuga family is in your hands. You have also grown up. And there are some things that I should tell you. It's finally here. Hinata's blood is boiling in her heart. The secrets that the Hyuga family has protected for thousands of years, the secrets of the ancient ninja world, the history of the Otsutsuki family, the ultimate move of Gentle Fist, the evolution of the Byakugan, and the truth about the Six Paths Sun Nin. I want to know all of these. Hyogo took out a box and opened it with a secret technique. Inside there are many scrolls. Hyogo continued. Our Hyuga family has been passed down for thousands of years. Before Shinobu built the village, our Hyuga family was already the top family in the ninja world. For thousands of years, our Hyuga family has accumulated countless wealth. These are our industries in the land of fire. These are our industries in the land of lightning. These are our industries in the land of earth. These are. Hinata's heart is tired. I want to hear the secrets of the ninja world. I don't want to hear how much money our Hyuga family has. And I don't want to hear you flaunt your wealth in front of me. And these assets will be mine in the future. Yes. They will be mine in the future. Then he had to listen to it carefully. It's best if I can memorize it. Chapter 30. Hinata listened attentively to Hyogo's bragging and finally found out that the Hyuga family is really rich. The wealth accumulated over 1,000 years is no joke. In addition to the land of water, the land of fire, the land of thunder, the land of wind, the land of earth, and some relatively peaceful small countries have the Hyuga family's property, as well as large tracts of land and treasures. Moreover, the Hyuga family has been friends with many aristocrats for generations. Hinata still remembers that in the original Naruto, when Pain attacked Shinobu, Hyogo went to visit a certain aristocrat with fireworks. And it doesn't seem to be an aristocrat of the land of fire, because Shinobu's ninja accompanied them at that time. It's called protection, but it's actually surveillance. Rich as a country, and friends all over the world. Hinata was shocked. The Hyuga family is really rich. Hyogo said lightly. You know these things for the time being. Most of the Hyuga family's property is in the land of fire, because once the Shinobi World War breaks out, the property of other countries will be paralyzed. What are you thinking? Nothing. Nothing. Hyogo continued. You will graduate in more than a year, and I have already made arrangements for you. Kakashi retired from the Umbu last year, and the 3 generations arranged for him to teach the newcomers. The purpose is obvious, Naruto and Sasuke in your class. With Hyogo's knowledge, he naturally knows what Naruto is. The Nine-Tails Jinchuriki and Uchiha's orphan are only under Kakashi's leadership, so the 3 generations can rest assured. Hyogo said, I have already proposed to the 3 generations to arrange for you to enter Kakashi's class. There are some things you may not know, but Kakashi used to be a student of the 4th generation. If you enter Kakashi's class, you will be qualified to compete for the position of Naruto. Hinata was a little stunned. Letting me compete for the position of Naruto with the Destiny's Child? Hyogo took a sip of tea and said lightly, Hinata, you are the heir of the Hyuga family. Your behavior must be in line with your identity. After joining Kakashi's class, you must work hard to improve your reputation in the village. Of course. It doesn't matter if you are Naruto or not. If you fail to compete for Naruto's position, you can come back and inherit the Hyuga family. 2 choices were placed in front of Hinata. Option A. Have an endless amount of official business to deal with, tiring Hokage position. Option B. The position of patriarch of the Hyuga family. Only a fool would choose to be Naruto. Fortunately, Hyogo was very tolerant. Listen to this sentence. If you fail to compete for the position of Naruto, come back and inherit the Hyuga family. How beautiful and moving it was. Also, to compete with Naruto for the position of Naruto, a transmigrator versus the son of the dimension, the chances of failure were very high. In the previous life, the transmigrator Wang Mang did not do anything to the son of the dimension Lu Xiao. Wait. Let me join Kakashi's class? Then what about Sakura? Forget it. Who cares who Sakura is? Looking at the silent Hinata, Hyogo asked. After hearing so much, do you have any thoughts? Hinata said weakly, Father, being Naruto is very tiring. The main thing was that competing with the Destiny's Child, if not careful, could lead to divine retribution. Hyogo. In fact, Hyogo was already quite satisfied with Hinata as his eldest daughter. Talent and strength aside for the time being. Although Hinata was often unreliable and said those narcissistic words in public, Hinata's social skills were even inferior to Hyogo's. In just 5 years at the ninja school, Hinata had already become friends with the heirs of the major families. Hyogo even heard that the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki seemed to like his daughter. If Naruto wasn't the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, Hyogo would have already killed him. So in Hyogo's view, Hinata's chances of becoming Naruto were actually very high. At least the major families would express their support. Next, as long as he gained a lot of reputation among the civilian ninja, becoming Naruto was basically a done deal. But Hyogo would never know that the legendary Destiny's Child and Hinata were the same age, and he would soon open a cheat, and his strength would soar like a rocket. Hyogo asked seriously, "Then what do you want to do in the future?" His daughter's heart was actually a salted fish girl. Hyogo was also very desperate. Hinata looked at Hyogo's face and said with courage, "In fact, I'm quite a Naruto consultant. High status, great power, and can affect Naruto's decision-making, and most importantly, I don't have much to do." In fact, joining Kakashi's class was quite good. The 6th generation Naruto was my teacher, and the 7th generation Naruto was at most a friend. And Hinata can also inherit the Hyuga family, and be good friends with the heirs of other ninja families. And if she became Naruto's consultant, then wouldn't Shinobu be my boss in the future? What's more, there's Otsutsuki Tonari on the moon. What's Otsutsuki Tonari's job? Guarding Otsutsuki Kagaya's seal. If anyone dares to make me unhappy, I'll release Otsutsuki Kagaya to beat you up. I'll be the boss in the whole ninja world. Hyogo was tired, his daughter had no ambition. What should he do? But thinking about it carefully, being Naruto's consultant seems to be quite good. As long as he can influence Naruto's decision-making, the Hyuga family will never decline. Hinata saw that Hyogo didn't speak, so she could only use her trump card. "Father-sama, think about it, the 1st generation, the 2nd generation, and the 4th generation all died young. There's no good end to being Naruto. What about the 3 generations? Can I tell you that the 3 generations Naruto won't live for more than 2 years?" Hinata really felt that it was good to be Naruto's consultant. Shinobu's collapse plan. Pain attacked Shinobu. Shinobu was attacked twice, and it was Naruto who met the enemy. Naruto's consultant didn't even show his head, so there was no danger at all. 3 generations died in the Shinobu's collapse plan. Pain attacked Shinobu, and the 5th generation almost died. If it weren't for Destiny's Child saving the world, Shinobu's village would have been destroyed long ago. Looking at Hinata, who had no fighting spirit, Hyogo temporarily compromised. Anyway, the future was still long. Hyogo nodded slightly and said lightly, "In a few days, your ninja school will be on holiday, and you will come with me to visit the old friends of our Hyuga family, and in the future, we will rely on you to maintain these friendships." "Yes, Father-sama." Seeing that Hyogo seemed to have nothing to say, Hinata couldn't help but ask, "Father-sama, our Hyuga family has been passed down for thousands of years. Don't you have any records of ancient times?" Hyogo asked curiously, "Why are you asking this?" Hinata curled her lips and said, "I'm just curious. The ninja's confidentiality regulations are too deceptive. Although I know the story of the 1st generation, 2nd generation, and 4th generation, I don't know what ninjutsu they know or how strong they are." Chapter 31. No, how could there not be? The Hyuga family has been passed down for thousands of years. Even if some secrets related to the Otsutsuki clan were destroyed by Hamura, there should be a history of the shinobi world for thousands of years, right? Although the ninja school also has courses on the history of the shinobi world, the history of the Warring States period is just a simple description. More of the description of the Warring States period of the shinobi world, and the beauty of the shinobi village. In the history books, there is not even a mention of the battle between the 1st Hokage and the Uchiha Madara, let alone the power of the 1st Hokage. The confidentiality regulations of the shinobi world are simply disrespectful to history. Hyogo looked at Hinata and said lightly, "Since you know the confidentiality regulations of the shinobi world, you should know that some things can't be recorded casually. Rashly recording these things will only bring disaster to the shinobi world. Hinata thought about it carefully, and what Hyogo said seemed to make some sense. For example, if Orochimaru, who pursues the truth, knew that the Hyuga family has records from thousands of years ago, I'm afraid that he would have already had ideas about the Hyuga family. Hyogo continued. In our Hyuga family, many secrets are passed down by word of mouth. When you inherit the Hyuga family, I will tell you these things. Hinata nodded helplessly. Okay. In fact, after reading the manga, Hinata knows the history of the shinobi world very well, and there is no need to read any information. But Hinata wants to know some gossip. For example, Otsutsuki Hamura and Otsutsuki Hagoromo's wife. And Hinata actually knows a lot of secrets of the shinobi world, but he just doesn't know how to say it. But if the Hyuga family has records, then the secrets Hinata knows can be explained. The days passed as usual, and Hinata was much more relaxed than before. At least there was not so much pressure in his heart. Hinata sometimes doesn't understand why the rich second generation in the TV series of his previous life hate their family to arrange everything for them, as if they have no freedom in life. Hinata couldn't help but think of his current life. From the moment she was born, everything was arranged by Hyuga Hayashi, from clothing, food, housing, and transportation to learning and cultivation. Although it was Hinata's idea to go to the ninja academy, it was Hyuga Hayashi's arrangement for her graduation. This included Hinata's future. If he couldn't become Naruto, he would have to go home and inherit his family's fortune. Wasn't that great? Those people really don't know how lucky they are. During the final exam, Naruto once again used his actions to prove that there were 27 students in the class. Looking at the dejected Naruto sitting on the swing, Hinata hesitated for a moment before walking over to comfort him. Naruto, don't be too discouraged, humph. If you hadn't gotten such a low score, Iruka would have thought that he had taught you well. The best way to comfort someone was to attack another person. Seeing that others are worse than you will feel a little comfort in your heart. Naruto got down from the swing in a panic, and looked at Hinata's back and said nervously, Iruka-sensei. Hinata. Hinata felt that his neck was a little stiff, and turned his head a little bit to look behind him. Sure enough, he saw Iruka standing there awkwardly. Iruka-sensei. Hinata took a deep breath and said very quickly, My mother called me to go home for dinner. Iruka-sensei, goodbye. So terrible. Will Iruka give me a hard time in the class in the future? Running all the way home, Hinata began his evening routine of eating, cultivating, and sleeping. Vacation days are very beautiful. Although the ninja world's vacation is only a short 1 month, he doesn't have to go to school. It means that he can sleep in. After 7 days of idling at home, Hyogo took Hinata and a group of Hyuga family guards to the capital of the Fire Country to visit some nobles who have a good relationship with the Hyuga family. Although this is the first time that Hinata has left Shinobu, she was bored to death. If she wasn't on the road, she would be a guest in other people's houses. She knew all kinds of people and listened to them praise her in various ways without repetition. She also had to maintain etiquette and pretend to be a noble lady. Although the outside world is very big, it's not as fun as Shinobu. Especially when visiting these nobles, Hinata, as the young lady of the Hyuga family, can't even go out of the room except when meeting guests. Originally, Hinata wanted to sneak out to play, but every time she was found by Hinata Takuma. A few days before school started, Hinata finally returned to Shinobu, and her whole person came back to life. On the first day of returning to Shinobu, Hinata gathered a group of friends and organized a party in the barbecue shop. The participants were Niji Shikamaru, Choji Ino Sakura, Naruto, Kiba Inuzuka, and others. Sasuke won't come. As for Shino Aburame, one of the 9 strongest experts, although Hinata remembered this name, she forgot this person. That's right. If you don't count Sasuke, there are a total of 8 people. The 9 strongest experts are not missing. Come. Today is my treat. Everyone eat and drink as you please. Don't be polite with me. Hinata greeted enthusiastically. Although she could only drink juice, Hinata looked drunk and complained about her miserable experience during this time. You don't know how miserable I was during this time. Do you think I went out of the village to play? Let me tell you, it's not at all. Ooh, I'm so miserable. Hinata kept crying, but didn't say why. Although the others couldn't resist the fire of gossip in their hearts, they could only comfort Hinata. Especially Ino, Sakura, Naruto, Choji, and Niji. They had a good relationship with Hinata, but they weren't very smart. The only smart one, Choji, lost his mind when he met Hinata. Ino hugged Hinata, who was acting miserable, and comforted him softly. Hinata, don't be too sad. At most, we will treat you to a few delicious meals. You can treat these foods as your miserable experience, swallow them into your stomach, and forget it all. Yes. Yes. Hinata, don't be sad. Hinata looked at everyone with a teary expression and said weakly, really? Ino patted her chest and promised, of course it's true. Treat this meal as a welcome dinner for you. Tomorrow, Xiaoying and I will ask you out to go shopping. Hinata hugged Ino and glared at Shikamaru with a warning look, but he kept saying gratefully, thank you so much, you are so good to me. Shikamaru couldn't help but put his hand on his forehead. You said you were going to treat. How did it become a welcome dinner for you in the end? Ino, you should be more careful. Shikamaru also had to admit that Hinata's cute and well-behaved appearance was very deceptive. Anyone who saw Hinata wouldn't think that she would lie. She didn't have any vigilance as a ninja. Hinata was satisfied with this barbecue meal. The depression that had accumulated for more than half a month was finally released. Sure enough, Shinobu's people were easier to fool. They were too enthusiastic. Chapter 32. Time flies by. The most important thing for the 6th grade is the graduation exam. The graduation exam of the ninja school is actually very simple, just a simple assessment of the use of ninjutsu to graduate. That is, the assessment of the 3 body techniques. Ninja is a profession that pursues efficiency, such as cultural classes, ninja theory classes, taijutsu classes, shuriken throwing classes, and so on. In the usual studies and tests, the school has already grasped the results of each student. Although the 3 body techniques are simple, it is a real ninjutsu, and the only proof to prove whether a person is qualified to learn ninjutsu. The graduation exam of the ninja school is divided into 3. The teacher will randomly choose one of the 3 body techniques. As long as the release is successful, the student will pass the exam. 3 ninjutsu exams. As long as you pass one can graduate, the final exam results will be based on the best one. For the students of the elite class, the graduation exam is just a piece of cake. Take Hinata for example. Hinata has passed 2 exams. Even if he didn't pass the last exam, he can still graduate. So the atmosphere in the class is very relaxed at this time. Students can be seen everywhere in 2s and 3s, talking about what will happen after becoming a ninja. But there is always an exception. A certain person who came in through the back door because of his special identity, failed the first 2 exams. Hinata doesn't know whether Iruka did it on purpose or not. Naruto's transformation technique is excellent, and the substitution technique is occasionally successful, but the clone technique, Naruto can't master it. In the happy atmosphere, only Naruto's atmosphere is the lowest. Hinata doesn't like to sit in the first row now. Hinata was after all a bad student in his previous life. He has some misunderstandings about studying God. He thought that studying God has to sit in the first row. But in fact, studying God has to sit in the first row. Studying God has to sit in the last row. In the class, the best friends with Hinata are Choji and Shikamaru. One is simple and kind, the other is resourceful. They have a common language and can bully each other. Choji weakly lay on the table. He didn't even eat his favorite chips. If only he could be in the same class as Shikamaru and Hinata. But even if Choji is naive, he knows that the Ino-Shikacho combination is impossible to break up. After messing around in the class for a while, Iruka walked into the classroom and said to the class with the name list, "Listen up, the topic of the graduation exam is cloning. Students whose names are called should go to the classroom next door in order." Damn. What the hell? When Naruto heard the news, the expression on his face was disgusted. This was Naruto's last chance, but it was the clone jutsu that he wasn't good at. Hinata secretly glanced at Naruto. According to the plot, are we going to steal the scroll of seals tonight? Hinata wanted to go and see what was going on. But after thinking about it carefully, Hinata gave up the idea of seeking death. The Book of Seals is such an important thing. How can it be stolen by a trainee ninja, who is not even a genin? The place where the Hyuga family stored confidential documents is full of traps. There are various ninjutsu seals, perception enchantments, and protection. Moreover, Naruto is the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, such an important identity. How can there be no Umbu protection around him? Perhaps this is a test from the 3 generations to Naruto, to test how much Naruto recognizes the village. At the same time, it will also give Naruto a cheat. Isn't the multiple shadow clone technique suitable for the Uzumaki who have a lot of chakra? Hinata used the shadow clone technique to pass the graduation exam. He can definitely beat Sasuke and smoothly take the first place in the graduation exam. For some of the less important jutsu, Hinata can learn it at home. Didn't Kakashi also learn the shadow clone technique before entering school? As for Sasuke, after all, there is no one to guide him in practice. Sasuke's progress in these years is actually very slow. Coincidentally, Naruto is behind Hinata. Coming out of the examination room, Hinata patted Naruto on the shoulder and encouraged, "Come on, believe in yourself." Naruto is not a person without talent. In fact, if it weren't for the 9 tails, Naruto's ninjutsu talent is definitely not worse than Sasuke. Even Namikaze Minato couldn't complete the Raisin Shuriken. Wasn't it also developed by Naruto? "Thank you, Hinata. You are so good," Naruto cried. Hinata was also tearing up. In order to have a good relationship with the future boss in advance, Hinata has sacrificed too much. At the end of the exam, only Naruto failed in the class of 27. Even if Hinata is familiar with the plot, at this time he doesn't know how to comfort Naruto. He can only choose to avoid her, pretending not to know Naruto's results, and leave school early to go home. Congratulations to Hinata-san. No, it should be Hinata-sama now. Congratulations to Hinata-sama for successfully passing the graduation exam. Hinata Takuma, this dog, just when Hinata returned home. He jumped out of nowhere and prepared a graduation gift for Hinata. After graduating from the Ninja Academy, Hinata officially became a ninja. "From now on, please call me Hinata-sama." Hinata took the gift from Hinata Takuma with a dark face, and said in an indifferent tone, "Thank you, you are so considerate." Hinata Takuma, this guy, has been Hinata's guard since Hinata was very young. Has always been loyal and hardworking. It can be said that he watched Hinata grow up. But with his intelligence, he probably will never know how he offended Hinata. There is a good saying in the Langya list. The father has a lot of power in his hands, but you know whose power it is. It must be the power of the future emperor. Hinata felt that it is necessary to remind Hinata Takuma who he should be loyal to. Unfortunately, Hinata has more important things to do today. Back in his room, Hinata closed the door and windows, stood in front of the dressing mirror, and looked at himself in the mirror without blinking. It's time to dress up properly. Because of his young age, Hinata has short hair like himself in the anime. This way, the hair will not affect the battle, and it can also make Hinata look more cute. The deceit of appearance is also one of the compulsory lessons of ninja. Hinata rummaged through the wardrobe. As for the upper body, black t-shirt, black makes the body look thinner and more lovable. As for the lower body, it is also black shorts, paired with white stockings, and take a shirt and wrap it around the waist as a skirt. Very good. Hinata admired himself in the mirror for a long time. Although in Hinata's previous life this outfit was a bit outdated, it is different in the ninja world. Hinata feels very good about himself. As for the forehead, it is better to wear it around the neck like in the original work. Perfect. Chapter 33. After showing off in the room for a long time, Hinata suddenly felt ashamed. Damn it. What's wrong with me? Why did I start to dress up? Isn't this something that little girls do? Popular science. After a woman enters puberty, a certain part of her body will secrete estrogen to promote physical development. For specific details, please consult a certain encyclopedia. Hinata. So that's how it is. Hinata nodded. After a woman enters puberty, her body will naturally undergo some kind of change. Just like Dongfang Bubi. and my situation is more serious than Dongfang boobies. Is it the soul that controls the body or the body's instinct that controls the soul? This is an unanswered question. Hinata also did as the Romans do and soon gave up struggling. Since I have already entered this body, from now on Hinata is me and I am Hinata. Even if it's for a cheat, I can't change my body like Orochimaru. That night, Hinata fell into deep thought. What is the ultimate meaning of life? The next day at 10 o'clock in the morning, Hinata dressed up beautifully and asked Ino and Sakura to take a photo of his ninja certificate. After completing the ninja induction procedures, it was already noon. Hinata and the other two came to the meatball shop and ordered meatballs and red bean soup for lunch. Eating with girls, Hinata naturally wouldn't eat casually. He only ordered 5 meatballs and a bowl of red bean soup. Hinata felt that his stomach was really strange. He didn't feel hungry after eating a little, but if he kept eating, he wouldn't feel full. Sakura put her hands together and prayed. In 2 days we will be divided into classes. I really look forward to being in the same class as Sasuke. Ino sneered. Wide forehead, don't be wishful thinking. No one can stop my love with Sasuke. The one in the same class as Sasuke will definitely be me. What did you say? Well, bore. Wide forehead. Well, bore. Here it comes again. Hinata shrugged. The two of them had quarreled over Sasuke for 6 whole years, but Sasuke had always turned a blind eye to them. And the person who was in the same class as Sasuke was me. Just how powerful was the backdoor? Even the original plot could be changed at will. With just you guys? It was better not to be delusional. Before leaving, Hinata didn't forget to pack a portion for Ningji and Huahua. Huahua loved sweets the most. 2 days later, it was finally time for the class assignment. Hinata's face was full of expectation. In order to prevent this little butterfly from flapping its wings, Hinata deliberately sat far away from Sasuke and Naruto, fearing that something that should have happened would not happen because of his mistake. In order to record this historic moment, Hinata specially brought a camera from home. But to Hinata's disappointment, Naruto and Sasuke's first kiss was not handed over until Iruka walked into the class with the class assignment schedule. That's right. He remembered that in the original work, Naruto was stimulated because Sakura liked Sasuke, so he squatted on the table and looked at Sasuke. But now, it turns out that the reason for Sasuke and Naruto to hand over their first kiss is my task? Well, I choose to give up this task. In order to see Naruto and Sasuke kiss, he deliberately went to Sasuke to provoke Naruto. It was a bit too shameful. From now on, you will be the ninjas who are in charge of everything. However, you are still newcomers among the genin. The real test is still to come. Iruka talked a lot and finally got to the point. Class 7, Hinata, Uzumaki Naruto, and awesome! Naruto shouted excitedly. And Uchiha Sasuke. Naruto got up and pointed at Sasuke, with a face full of dissatisfaction. Iruka-sensei, why should an excellent student like me be in a group with this guy? Speaking of which, Naruto, who has learned the multiple shadow clone jutsu, once he explodes, Sasuke at this time may not be able to beat him. Iruka put his hands on his waist and said, Sasuke and Hinata have the best results among all the graduates, but Naruto, you are the last. You listen to me, we made this decision in order to balance the strength. I am afraid that only a fool would believe this sentence. Sasuke didn't even look at Naruto and snorted. Don't get in my way, last place. Seeing Naruto and Sasuke quarreling, Shikamaru looked at Hinata sympathetically and comforted. It seems that you will have a lot of trouble in the future. Alas. In fact, in the novice stage, Shino and Inuzuka were indeed the best teammates. But they had to take a long-term view. Naruto and Sasuke were reincarnations of immortals. At noon, Hinata didn't intend to get close to his 2 teammates, but asked Ino and Sakura to have a meal together. Hinata sadly said, After today, I don't know when I will see you again. Ino absent-mindedly comforted. Hinata, don't be too sad. You are okay, although you have Naruto. You still have Sasuke in your class. Unlike me, I only have a fat guy and a lazy guy. Sakura scratched her head and said, Don't say it, I am worse than you. Thinking that Sakura would have to face Shino's insect army in the future, Hinata couldn't help but feel indignant for himself in the manga. What the hell was Abi thinking? Why did he arrange Hinata, this good girl, to be a teammate who raises insects? After having a farewell meal with Ino and Sakura, Shinobu's S.H.E group officially announced the disbandment. From today onwards, I, Hinata, officially joined the Immortal Group. I will form a team with Otsutsuki Azura and Otsutsuki Indra. From now on, please call me Otsutsuki Hinata. Rise, in the name of God. In the afternoon, the classes were divided, and the Jonin who came one after another took away their team members. In the empty classroom, only Hinata, Naruto, and Sasuke were left. Naruto complained. What the hell? Why hasn't the teacher of our class 7 come yet? I don't know who the teacher of our class 7 is. He is not reliable at all. Hinata lay on the table and said weakly. It is a white-haired middle-aged uncle called Hatake Kakashi. Hearing this, Sasuke and Naruto imagined countless white-haired middle-aged uncle in their minds. In the end, it could be summed up in 3 words. So bad. Hey, Naruto asked curiously. Hinata, how did you know? Hinata didn't want to say more, and said casually. He came to visit our house yesterday, and I saw him by chance. Oh. Naruto suddenly got up, picked up the blackboard eraser, and clipped it to the crack of the door. Hinata looked at it, and became excited. So much time has passed that Hinata almost forgot this plot. Let me help you. Hinata happily took out the steel wire from the ninja bag, and used the door as the starting mechanism of the trap. He tied a lot of chalk to the steel wire, and waited for Kakashi to take the bait. If it weren't for the lack of tools, Hinata even wanted to make something more fun. For example, Akamaru's excrement. Chapter 34. Latecomers must be punished. Hinata has already thought about it. If Kakashi doesn't meet at the agreed time in the future, he must set a trap to fix Kakashi's problem of being late. This is an illness. It must be cured. Hinata stared at the door of the classroom expectantly, waiting for Kakashi to fall into the trap. Early this morning, Kakashi and a group of Jonin went to Naruto's office to report. From the crystal ball, he saw the graduates were divided into classes, and then he visited Naruto's house and Sasuke's house with 3 generations. He had a basic understanding of the living habits of the two. Although Kakashi hasn't let any students pass his assessment for 2 years in a row, everyone knows that 3 generations prepared Kakashi for practice, and by the way, let Kakashi change the living habits of the Umbu. No one will let an elite Jonin lead an ordinary novice genin. That's called a waste of human resources. Of course, Kakashi is not the kind of ordinary ninja who has no autonomy. If Hinata, Naruto, and Sasuke can't pass Kakashi's assessment, Kakashi will really judge the 3 of them as failed. After visiting the students' houses, Kakashi went to the memorial as usual to remember the past, so he was naturally late. Walking to the classroom, Kakashi glanced at the blackboard eraser clipped to the crack of the door. Such a lame trap. There is no need to think to know that it was designed by Naruto. Kakashi pretended not to know anything and pushed the door open, but the blackboard eraser hit his brain. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. It's not over yet. The force of pushing the door pulled the wire, and a piece of chalk shot towards Kakashi like a shuriken. Hinata's trap is actually not exquisite, but Kakashi obviously underestimated Hinata and the others, plus there was Naruto's trap as a cover. Kakashi ignored the trap from the beginning. However, a Jonin is a Jonin after all. The chalk went through Kakashi's body without any accident. It's just an ordinary clone technique. Kakashi has silently appeared on the podium. So fast. Even Hinata was surprised by Kakashi's speed, but thinking about it carefully, it doesn't seem to be wrong. In the case of Akai not opening the 8 gates, Kakashi is a strong person who can compete with Akai, so it's normal for him to have such speed. Ha 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 sensei. The person who laughs so happily is actually Hinata. Even if he knows that Kakashi deliberately fell into the trap, he still feels. Naruto is laughing so hard that his stomach cramps. How should I put it? Kakashi touched his chin and said to himself. My first impression of you is quite annoying. Hinata pointed at Kakashi and said unhappily, Sensei, my first impression of you is that you are a lecherous middle-aged uncle. And I hate you. Kakashi said in his heart. I'll admit it if you say I'm lecherous, but where does this middle-aged uncle come from? Hinata indicated that he doesn't want to mention his first encounter with Kakashi. After bringing Hinata and the others to the rooftop, Kakashi sat on the railing and said casually, "Then let's introduce ourselves first. What do we have to say when we introduce ourselves? What do you like? What do you hate? What do you have dreams, interests, something like that?" Naruto shouted, "Wait a minute, sensei first." "Oh, me?" Kakashi said weakly. "My name is Hataki Kakashi. I like and hate many things. My interests and hobbies are also varied. As for dreams, there's nothing much to say." He didn't say anything, right? Hinata and the others silently complained at the same time. "It's your turn now. Start from the right." Naruto's self-introduction is nothing more than Noodles and Naruto's story. Sasuke's self-introduction is much more exciting. He swore that he would kill his brother. "Okay. It's time for the girls." Hinata held his chin with one hand and said weakly, "My name is Hinata. I like many things such as tasting food, sleeping, reading, daydreaming, shopping, cultivation, beauty treatments, making friends, eating together, bullying a certain fatty." 500 words omitted. There are also many things that I dislike, such as not being punctual, not paying attention to hygiene, being secretive, having no motivation. There are also many dreams in the future, there are also many interests and hobbies, such as, Kakashi rolled his dead fish eyes. Seeing Hinata's posture of talking until tomorrow morning, he had to interrupt in time. "Okay, let's end the self-introduction here. Moreover, why are all the things that Hinata said he doesn't like my shortcomings?" Hinata said discontentedly, "Sensei Kakashi, it's impolite to interrupt others' self-introduction. I haven't finished yet." Kakashi held his forehead and said, "We will slowly understand each other in the future." "Okay then." Hinata really didn't lie. Hinata dared to swear in the name of Otsutsuki that every word he said could be used as evidence in court. "Let's end the self-introduction here. We will start the mission tomorrow. First of all, the four of us will carry out this mission, a wilderness survival exercise. This is not an ordinary wilderness survival exercise. In this exercise, your opponent will be me." Seeing Naruto and Sasuke's disapproving expression, Kakashi continued, "This is a test with an elimination rate of more than 66%. Among the 27 graduates, only 9 can be recognized as genin in the end." Hinata glanced to the side. These two were really scared. "I have written down the specific requirements. Don't be late tomorrow." Kakashi handed the 3 forms to Hinata and the other 2, and was about to use the body flicker technique to leave. Before leaving, Kakashi also specifically said, "By the way, don't forget to bring your ninja tools. Forget about breakfast, you will definitely vomit." Hinata waved his hand to say goodbye, and shouted at the same time, "Kakashi-sensei, even if I vomit, I will vomit on you, and you won't have a good time." As an elite jonin, he has super high chakra control, and has copied thousands of ninjutsu. Suddenly, his foot slipped, and chakra leaked out, and he almost failed to use the body flicker technique. Just now, Kakashi has been using his murderous aura to create pressure on Hinata and the other 2. At this moment, as soon as Kakashi left, Naruto immediately couldn't help but shout, "What the hell? It's not easy for me to. Why do we still have to take the graduation exam?" Hinata waved to Naruto, motioning Naruto to come closer, and said with a mysterious face, "Naruto, don't you have a killer move? If you use that move against Kakashi-sensei, he will definitely fall for it." "Sasuke, Naruto's killer move? Naruto, how does Hinata know that I have learned Shadow Clone Jutsu?" Hinata stood up and said loudly, "It's that seduction jutsu. Naruto, you are the man who defeated Naruto, a mere Kakashi. Sensei is definitely not your opponent." Sasuke, 2 idiots. Chapter 35. When they first met, Kakashi was undoubtedly a nuisance. Covering half of his face and one eye, he seemed to be full of mystery. But in fact, the dead fish eye that was exposed completely destroyed Kakashi's temperament. Coupled with Kakashi's half-dead attitude, as well as his feeble tone, Lin Sanjia thought to herself. It was clearly saying, I looked down on the three of you. Although Naruto was a little silly and did things unconventionally, there was one thing that Hinata thought he did very wisely and vowed to learn from Naruto. That night, Hinata changed the sandbag he used to practice softboxing into Kakashi's appearance and beat Kakashi until late at night. It was rare for Hinata to be willing to practice hard. If he kept beating Kakashi as a sandbag in the future, Hinata believed that his softboxing level would improve very quickly. Kakashi's appointed time for the exercise was 5 o'clock in the morning. Hinata did not dare to be late. He got out of bed at 4 o'clock, washed up very quickly, and then had a full meal. He also packed a portion for Sasuke and Naruto. These two simple fools must have believed Kakashi's nonsense. At 4:55, Hinata appeared on time at the 7th exercise field. Naruto and Sasuke had already arrived first. Yo. Good morning. Hinata greeted with sleepy eyes, put the breakfast on the ground and asked, "You haven't had breakfast yet, right?" "Hey, I brought it for you." "Morning." "Hinata." Naruto shamelessly moved to Hinata's side and smiled wretchedly. "Hinata, you actually brought me breakfast. It's so touching." Hinata pushed Naruto and said angrily, "Stay away from me." Naruto had been hungry for a long time. When he opened the lunchbox, he suddenly remembered Kakashi's advice yesterday and could not help but ask, "Hinata, didn't Sensei Kakashi say that we can't eat breakfast yesterday?" Sasuke sneered. "Idiot," Naruto said angrily. "What did you say?" Hinata explained, "Sensei Kakashi only said that we will vomit after eating breakfast, but he didn't say that we can't eat breakfast." Naruto took 2 lunchboxes, obviously not planning to share them with Sasuke. "This is childish." Bang. Hinata gave Naruto a heavy punch and said angrily, "The other one is for Sasuke. If he doesn't eat his fill, he won't have the strength to participate in Sensei Kakashi's survival exercise later." Sasuke glanced at Hinata and said lightly, "I've already eaten." Hinata was a little surprised. Did Sasuke become smarter, or was he just trying to save face? While Naruto was eating, Hinata waved to Sasuke and took out the tools to set up traps from his backpack. "Sasuke, let's set up the traps." Sasuke was puzzled. "Traps?" Hinata nodded and explained. "The traps are divided into 2 parts. The first part is the trap used in the exercise later, and the second part is the punishment for Sensei Kakashi's lateness." Kakashi, as an elite jonin of Shinobu and a jonin of Team 7, could naturally be late and casually make up an insincere reason to deal with it. But Hinata, as a novice ninja, must arrive at the gathering place on time even if he knew that Kakashi would be late. Otherwise, Kakashi only needed to write in Hinata's ninja report that Hinata is an unpunctual ninja, and that would affect Hinata's future ninja promotion. This is too unfair. Sasuke helped Hinata to set up the traps. Suddenly, he turned his head and asked, "Have you guessed the content of the survival exercise?" Hinata nodded. After tying a wire, he explained, "It's probably something like a battle. I think it should be the 3 of us fighting against Kakashi-sensei." Sasuke's face was gloomy. Fighting against a jonin? After working for more than 10 minutes, Hinata and Sasuke came out of the woods. Hinata walked in front of Naruto, and then 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. After about 10 steps, he stomped on the ground and said, "If we stand next to Naruto, Kakashi should be standing here." Naruto curiously asked, "Hinata, what are you going to do?" Hinata took out a mouse trap and a strange bag from his backpack. "This is a special mouse trap. We can hide in the grass and it's hard to be found," Sasuke complained. "After all, the other party is a jonin. Your trick is useless." Hinata sneered and picked up the strange bag. He gritted his teeth and said, "Of course, I know that this trick won't work on a jonin, so I specially prepared another gift for Kakashi. The thing in this bag is what I asked you for yesterday. It's the secret treasure of Akamaru. No matter how well we hide the mouse trap, we can't hide it from Kakashi-sensei's eyes. But I have already figured out Kakashi-sensei's character. In order to laugh at us, he will deliberately stand next to the mouse trap, but he won't step on the mouse trap. So, as long as we put Akamaru's secret treasure next to the mouse trap, Kakashi-sensei will definitely fall for it." Naruto Sasuke. Sasuke won't do such a boring thing, but Naruto was very interested in it. He helped Hinata arrange the mousetrap and put Akamaru's secret treasure next to the mousetrap. He carefully covered it with grass to ensure that it won't be discovered. When people's vision is focused on something, they tend to unconsciously ignore other things. If Kakashi discovers the mousetrap, he will definitely ignore Akamaru's secret treasure next to the mousetrap. What's more, Akamaru's secret treasure is only used to disgust people. There is no danger in itself. Even if a Jonin is vigilant, he will never notice it. Kakashi was seriously late. Hinata waited from 5 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock in the morning before Kakashi came late. Carrying his backpack, he walked all the way to Hinata's group. Kakashi glanced up and down with his dead fish eyes, and immediately found something unusual in the grass 10 steps away from Hinata's group. It's really 3 childish ghosts. Kakashi's mouth under the mask was slightly raised. Things were as Hinata expected. Kakashi deliberately walked to the edge of the mousetrap, but he didn't step on the mousetrap. He also waved to Hinata's group and said, "Hey, good morning." Hinata's group didn't answer and stared at Kakashi's right foot. And Kakashi was a little puzzled. It seems that he stepped on something? Hey, this smell. Kakashi, who is known for his nose better than Akamaru's, finally found something wrong. He also raises dogs. Naturally, he knows what this smell is. Wahahaha dash, Hinata and Naruto laughed heartily. Hinata said breathlessly, "Kakashi-sensei, we decided that if you are late again in the future, we will give you a gift every time you are late." Naruto said, Yes. Chapter 36. What should I do if I step on dog shit in front of the students? Waiting online, it's quite urgent. The problem of being late. How should he describe it? After all, he still has to work under Kakashi for a while, so no matter what, Hinata must cure Kakashi's problem of being late. He can't stop taking medicine every day. After playing around for a while, Kakashi took out an alarm clock and put it on the log, and said lightly, "Okay, I set it for 12 o'clock. Taking out 2 bells, Kakashi continued, "I have 2 bells here. Your task is to snatch them from me before noon. Those who can't snatch the bells in the specified time are not qualified to eat lunch, and they will be tied to the post and watch us eat lunch. There are only 2 bells. Someone will definitely be tied to the log, and he will also be eliminated because of the failure of the task. In other words, at least one person has to return to school. It doesn't matter if you use shurikens. If you don't have the determination to kill me, you won't be able to snatch the bells." After a lot of long-winded talk, after Kakashi said exercise begins, Hinata and the other 2 instantly scattered and hid. As a ninja, hiding is the most basic thing. Kakashi said to himself, "Very good, everyone did a good job. Come on, let's fight it out." That's right, Kakashi-sensei die. Hinata and Naruto jumped out of nowhere and pointed at Kakashi to declare war in front of everyone. They didn't put this elite ninja of Shinobu in their eyes. Sasuke, who was hiding somewhere. Those 2 super idiots. Sasuke was actually a little embarrassed at the moment. He was hiding well, but his 2 teammates jumped out to confront Kakashi, which made him, a person who strictly follows the rules of ninja, seem a little timid. Kakashi complained, "I say, are you guys okay? The problem should be your hairstyle." Naruto roared and rushed towards Kakashi. Hinata followed closely behind and shouted, "Naruto, use your ultimate move." Kakashi was just about to take out Intimate Heaven when he heard Hinata's words. He thought that the 2 of them had come up with some sort of tactical arrangement, and his interest was immediately piqued. He decided to observe their cooperation first. Naruto formed a seal with his hands and shouted, "Shadow Clone Technique." Hinata's eyes lit up. Finally. Harem Technique. Okay, dozens of young girls surrounded Kakashi in the smoke, wantonly showing off their coquettishness. Kakashi was instantly killed. The next day, Shinobu held a funeral for Kakashi. Of course, the harem technique was not as exaggerated as in the manga, where one's nose would bleed 3 feet high. However, it could still cause one to lose focus for a short period of time. Hiding in the smoke created by the transformation technique, Hinata activated Byakugan and quickly approached Kakashi. "Gossip. Before Hinata could use a combo, another Kakashi appeared in Byakugan's field of vision. Byakugan could not see the flaws of the shadow clone technique, but if two Kakashi appeared in Byakugan's field of vision, it was enough to explain the problem. After destroying Kakashi's shadow clone with one palm, Hinata shouted, "Sasuke, be careful! Kakashi-sensei is going to your side." Sasuke's hiding place was not randomly hidden. It was where Hinata and Sasuke had set up the trap. Sasuke instantly activated the trap and jumped out of the forest, landing on Hinata's right. Sasuke snorted. "You too?" Hinata carefully stared at Kakashi with Byakugan, and at the same time replied, "Kakashi-sensei is a jonin after all. If we separate, we can only be defeated by him one by one. It's better to beat him up together. We can talk about the bell after we get it." Kakashi naturally knew that with Hinata, a Hyuga family ninja, there was no use for him to hide. Walking out of the forest, Kakashi glanced at Hinata and the other two. Although the fight just now was only a short moment, he had roughly judged the strength of Hinata, Sasuke, and Naruto. Naruto's chakra was very large, but his taijutsu and ninjutsu were very poor. His combat experience was basically zero, and his brain was not smart enough. Although Sasuke couldn't see much, the speed just now was very fast, and the trap was activated very decisively. On the other hand, Hinata, this little girl, Kakashi naturally knew that Hinata was the first in this year's competition, but Hinata's speed just now was not much worse than his. More importantly, Hinata easily destroyed Kakashi's shadow clone. It must be known that in the original manga, when Naruto and Sasuke first encountered Zabuza, the two of them together couldn't beat Zabuza's water clone. The shadow clone of an elite jonin is not something that can be easily dealt with by anyone. Kakashi's expression was unreadable and he said lightly, "You guys." Before Kakashi finished speaking, Hinata clenched her fists, and the blue chakra fist instantly condensed. 20 God's air strike. He absolutely can't give Kakashi a chance to show off. Since Kakashi took care of the three of them, Hinata can only use his trump card. If Kakashi didn't use his Sharingan, Hinata may not be afraid of him. "You guys cooperate with me." Hinata moved her feet and rushed towards Kakashi at an extremely fast speed. Naruto and Sasuke followed closely behind. Bang, bang, bang. But of course when Hinata and Kakashi fought, Naruto and Sasuke immediately stopped. Naruto was shocked. So powerful. It turns out that Hinata usually didn't use his full strength when he fought me. Sasuke clenched his fists, and his face was full of unwillingness. He was also shocked by Hinata's strength. When Hinata and Kakashi fought, he didn't even have the qualifications to intervene. Sasuke has always naively thought that although Hinata is a little stronger than him, as long as he works hard, one day he will catch up with Hinata. But seeing Hinata's true strength, Sasuke realized that he has been living in a dream. In fact, Kakashi's surprise is no less than Naruto and Sasuke. Kakashi has seen a lot of geniuses. During the Umbu period, Itachi Uchiha, who once worked under Kakashi for a period of time, is a real genius. But Hinata's strength at this time is not weaker than Itachi Uchiha's at the same time, and even slightly stronger. Itachi Uchiha graduated from the Ninja Academy at the age of 7, and joined the Umbu at the age of 11, and has extremely rich combat experience. But what about Hinata? Hinata has been in the Ninja Academy for 6 years. Except for the daily training, he has no combat experience at all. One is an elite ninja who has experienced hundreds of battles. The other is a flower seedling cultivated in a greenhouse. But now, this flower seedling cultivated in a greenhouse suddenly became the first generation of Mokuton, and directly crushed Itachi Uchiha at the same time. Kakashi can feel that Hinata's combat experience is only from normal practice. Even if Hinata's attacks are very fierce, but it can't hide the immaturity of Hinata's moves. There are too many useless moves. But Kakashi has a feeling that if he didn't use his Sharingan, he might have lost today. Chapter 37. For a ninja, great power is like a drug. Once you start to get in touch with it, you can never get rid of it. If Kakashi used the Sharingan at the beginning just to see the world for bordered soil, then after he got used to the power of the Sharingan, he can no longer give up the power of the Sharingan. He has already gotten used to the buff brought by the Sharingan. Once he loses the Sharingan, Kakashi's combat power will decline. The 3 Tomo Sharingan has 3 abilities: Insight, Duplication, and Dynamic Vision. When Kakashi gets used to using these 3 abilities, his own insight and reaction ability will decline. It's like we are used to ordering takeout, and we are too lazy to go out to eat anymore. Oh, convenient abilities will make people abandon some instincts. But in fact, this is not a harm. The Sharingan, Byakugan, and other abilities are also a kind of strength. Just like ninjutsu and chakra, when a ninja doesn't have ninjutsu and chakra, he is essentially just a stronger ordinary person. It's just that the burden of the Sharingan is too heavy for Kakashi, coupled with his lack of training for many years. This led to him being unable to break through the Kage level. Bang, bang, bang. With Naruto and Sasuke watching from the side, Hinata doesn't worry that the sound of gentle fist fighting will cause misunderstandings. The purpose of Kakashi's test is teamwork, so when Naruto and Sasuke don't participate in the battle, Hinata doesn't want to snatch Kakashi's bell. Even in close combat, the bell hanging on Kakashi's waist is within reach for Hinata. Besides, even if Hinata grabs the bell, when the time comes, Kakashi will let the 3 of them distribute the bell. Hinata can't say for sure. She can't hypocritically say that she will give the bell to Naruto and Sasuke, and she will go back to the ninja school for another year, right? That's not Miss Hinata's style either. Instead of honestly snatching the bell, he might as well give Kakashi a good beating. Kakashi had obviously noticed this as well, but he didn't know if Hinata had forgotten because he was too excited to fight, or if he had already realized the truth of the test. Furthermore, fighting with Hinata was really tiring. Kakashi could already feel the chakra flow in his body slowing down. Unless he uses ninjutsu or opens his Sharingan, Kakashi is going to die today. Thinking of this, Kakashi decided to give Hinata a chance. Let Hinata grab the bell first, and then let Sasuke and Naruto grab the other bell. When the time came, let's see how they perform. Kakashi exposed a flaw. Hinata didn't answer him. Kakashi exposed another flaw. Hinata still didn't pay attention to him. Kakashi was tired. Isn't this a game of snatching the bell? Why did he give you the bell for free, and you still don't want it? Do you want to beat me so much? Kakashi exposed another flaw. Hinata wasn't a fool. Kakashi exposed the flaw in his waist to him again and again. Hinata naturally understood Kakashi's intention. You asked for it. Hinata reached out to grab the bell. Kakashi was happy. It's finally here. Letting Hinata grab a bell is nothing. In a while, Kakashi will casually use a few ninjutsu to let Naruto and Sasuke see how powerful he is. At that time, as long as he casually said a few words such as, "Ninjutsu, today I will let you see." In this way, Kakashi will be able to regain his lost face. Seeing that Hinata was about to touch the bell, Hinata suddenly stretched out a finger and pointed at Kakashi's waist. And that part of the organ is the kidney. Ouch! Kakashi screamed, holding his waist and quickly retreating. In a few flashes he hid in the woods. He was too ashamed to face anyone. And it's okay to lose face, but how can a man's kidney be hit so casually? Kakashi was not married yet. He couldn't help but worry about his future marriage. Hinata looked at his finger in a daze. I seem to have hit the wrong place. That place, not good. Hinata wailed. What will Akai do in the future? Hitting Kakashi's kidney, I really feel sorry for Akai. Naruto quickly ran to Hinata's side, scratched his head and wondered. Hinata, what happened to Kakashi-sensei? Sasuke still knew about the human organs. The ninja school also taught this course. After all, that place is also a vital part. Sasuke's mouth twitched a few times. He swore that he would never practice with Hinata in the future. It's best not to make Hinata angry. After all, there is no way to train the internal organs, and Gentle Fist is a move that specifically attacks the internal organs. But how can a man's kidney be hit so casually? Hinata and the other two waited for about 5 minutes. Kakashi suddenly appeared on a branch outside the forest. He first looked deeply at Hinata, but in order to maintain his dignity as a teacher, Kakashi still looked indifferent and said lightly, "It seems that your strength is very good. Then I will have to be a little more serious." Hinata looked down at his hands and suddenly said excitedly, I think I discovered the true meaning of Gentle Fist. Gentle Fist is really powerful. In the past, when Hyogo taught Hinata Gentle Fist, he always let Hinata hit the enemy's chest. After all, the heart is in the chest, which is the real vital part of the human body. But today, after accidentally hitting Kakashi's kidney, Hinata discovered the ultimate meaning of Gentle Fist. Kidney attack. Naruto and Sasuke heard this and quickly moved 10 meters away from Hinata. Kakashi's forehead was dripping with cold sweat. He swore that no matter what, he would never compete with Hinata in the future. Absolutely not, Kakashi said lightly. Then the real test will begin. After saying this, Kakashi's hands moved quickly. The speed of the hand seals was almost invisible to the naked eye. In just a short second, Kakashi spat out a huge fireball towards Hinata and the other two, but the main target was Hinata. Naruto shouted, Hinata, run! Fortunately, Naruto and Sasuke had already moved away from Hinata, so they could easily avoid the fireball. Dodge. Normal players relied on their skills, gold players relied on their equipment, and cheat players relied on their normal attacks. Kakashi was at most an ordinary player with skills. It was just that some cheat player gave him a top-grade equipment. I'm a dignified Otsutsuki Hinata. Can't I beat Kakashi? 8 trigrams, Mountain Smash 4 twos. If the 20 Gods Empty Strike was Hinata's trump card, then the Mountain Smash was Hinata's 4 twos. The Mountain Smash's penetrative power was extremely strong. It was not as simple as 2 empty palms. Simply put, the difference between empty palms and the Mountain Smash was the difference between gunpowder and explosives. The formula was different, and the dosage was different. A chakra ray directly pierced through the fireball and shot towards Kakashi. He was going to die. Kakashi's forehead was dripping with cold sweat. He jumped and dodged the Mountain Smash. He planned to get rid of Naruto and Sasuke first, then slowly play with Hinata. Chapter 38. Good. Amazing. Naruto ran to the side and stared blankly at the battle between Hinata and Kakashi. That scene was simply earth-shattering, and it refreshed his worldview. Fortunately, Hinata's mountain break was launched from the bottom to the top, otherwise, the forest in the 7th training ground would have been destroyed. The trees in the ninja world are always suffering from disasters, so it's best to protect them as much as possible. Protecting the environment is everyone's responsibility. Naruto and Sasuke separated. Sasuke obviously saw that Kakashi was serious. The strength of a Jonin is not something he can deal with, so Sasuke hit again. Sasuke actually paid more attention to this survival exercise than Naruto and Hinata. Hinata just treated the survival exercise as a training exercise, and Naruto was doing it for his position as Naruto. For Sasuke, if he fails the Genin assessment, he won't be able to take revenge on Itachi Uchiha. Sasuke doesn't care whether he's a Jonin or not, he just wants to prove his strength. But it has to be said that what happened today was a fatal blow to Sasuke. Hinata, who is the same age as him, is not someone he can touch. Running in the woods, Sasuke clenched his fists and constantly questioned himself in his heart. What the hell was he doing during this time? And why was there such a big difference between him and Hinata? And Naruto, when did he learn such a high-level ninjutsu like Shadow Clone Jutsu? Seeing that the wave was over, Naruto looked at Hinata and asked, Hinata, what should we do now? Hinata opened her eyes and looked around, then said, follow me. Kakashi wants to kill Sasuke first? How can this be? Hinata's principle of teamwork was that they had to save their comrades. Hinata gave himself full marks in his heart. Wasn't this Kakashi's lifelong philosophy? I've already passed. As for Naruto, Hinata glanced at Naruto. As long as he followed him to save people, he would definitely be judged as a pass by Kakashi. So the only one left was Sasuke. He had to find a way to make Sasuke realize this. Hinata felt a headache coming on. He was really worried sick for these two idiots. Motherly love. In the woods, Sasuke was lying on the ground. He wanted to watch the battle between Kakashi and Hinata, but he found that the 7th training ground was empty. Sasuke, watch your back. Hearing the voice, Sasuke broke out in a cold sweat. He turned around and saw Kakashi looking down at him. Kakashi was about to use an illusion to knock down Sasuke when he heard a slight sound coming from the woods. He turned around and saw Hinata forming chakra fist in his hands and jumping into the air. "Sasuke, don't move!" Hinata shouted and punched out with both fists. With Hinata's current control, the chakra fist formed by the 20 gods' airstrike was enough to form 10 punches at the same time. It was like a barrage of cannonballs. Boom, boom, boom. The ground shook and sand and dust flew everywhere. Hinata landed on the ground and used Byakugan to find Sasuke. He then brought Sasuke away. Kakashi was still hit. Hinata's punches on the ground would cause the ground to shake violently. Under such circumstances, there was no way to escape using earth melt. Although Hinata deliberately avoided Sasuke's position, he attacked Kakashi with 8 punches. Even though Kakashi was extremely fast, he was still hit by the punches. Ahem! Kakashi sat under a big tree, a wry smile hanging on the corner of his mouth under the mask. Today was really embarrassing. He thought that this would be a test that he could easily complete by reading a book. He did not expect to encounter a cheater. Hinata's strength was indeed strange. From the perspective of a game, Hinata had achieved diamond level by playing simple computer games. As long as Hinata fought with other diamond players of the same level a few times, he could easily become a challenger. To practice one's skills, one had to fight with other players. However, he had never heard of anyone who could achieve diamond level by playing computer games. Therefore, even though Naruto and Sasuke were already 12 years old, they only had silver level strength and bronze level consciousness. However, Naruto and Sasuke had silver or gold level theoretical foundation. As long as they practiced a little, their strength would immediately improve rapidly. Kakashi had to admit that if he wanted to defeat Hinata, he would have to use his Sharingan. Without the Sharingan, Kakashi's insight and judgment could not keep up with his strength. In another part of the forest, Hinata and Sasuke met up with Naruto. Naruto shouted, "Hinata, you are so strong. What was that move called?" Hinata was looking for Kakashi with his supercilious eyes. He had no time to pay attention to Naruto. He casually replied, "For twos with 2 kings. In fact, if he used empty palm with 20 gods empty strike, it should be 4 aces with 2 kings. Found him. Let's go." Hinata quickly found Kakashi's position. He called out to Naruto and Sasuke and quickly ran over. Sasuke was very unwilling. In fact, he had already discovered the truth of this survival exercise. Because every time Hinata fought with Kakashi, he would always call out to Naruto and Sasuke. So was it teamwork? But teamwork also needs to be of the same level. Once Hinata fought with Kakashi, Naruto and Sasuke had no room to intervene. "They don't even give me time to breathe," Kakashi complained. In fact, he also knew that as long as Hinata was there, unless he left the training ground, he would be found no matter where he hid. How the hell did they train? I didn't hear Akai say that Niji in their class was abnormal? Kakashi shook his head. When Hinata and the other 2 appeared, Kakashi took off his forehead protector, revealing the Sharingan under it. Little girls nowadays are really amazing. It seems that I have to be serious. Hinata showed a harmless and sweet smile and said proudly, "I can see it. Kakashi-sensei, your left eye is quickly consuming your chakra. In this state, you won't be able to hold on for long." The current Kakashi was not the Kakashi who felt the crisis and worked hard to train for 3 years. Since the death of the bordered soil, Kakashi hasn't practiced diligently for a long time. Coupled with the fact that the ninja world has been peaceful for a long time, Kakashi has unconsciously slacked off. Kakashi scratched his head and said with a little helplessness, "Kids nowadays are really not cute." Compared to Hinata's early knowledge and Naruto's ignorance, when Kakashi revealed his Sharingan, the shock in Sasuke's heart was indescribable. It was like a tsunami. "Is that a Sharingan?" Sasuke stared at Kakashi's left eye, which was Uchiha's Sharingan. Chapter 39. Kakashi obviously had no intention of explaining further. Of course, Hinata would not give him the chance or time to explain. "Sasuke!" Hinata shouted and immediately sent an empty palm strike towards Kakashi. Sasuke quickly formed a seal and took advantage of the fact that Kakashi had dodged the empty palm strike, and had not yet regained his balance. He spat out a huge fireball towards Kakashi. Boom! The fireball hit something and suddenly exploded. A large amount of fog filled the surroundings, and the visibility in the air was greatly reduced. Naruto was stunned and said, "Sasuke, you're too ruthless. Don't tell me Sensei Kakashi is dead." Slap. Hinata slapped the back of Naruto's head and said resentfully, "Don't talk nonsense during a battle." Oh. Naruto nodded obediently and formed a seal with both hands. He shouted, "Multiple shadow clone technique." Slap. Hinata slapped the back of Naruto's head again, and directly destroyed a shadow clone. He complained weakly, "Don't tell the enemy your moves so loudly." Hinata was mentally tired. Naruto and Sasuke were still too immature at this time. What was this? A savior's plan to raise them? Then what was he? A nanny? A nanny? Hundreds of Naruto appeared at the same time. All of them were shouting, "Kakashi is not here, neither is here. Where did Sensei Kakashi go?" Hinata could not help but facepalm. There was a supercilious eye. "Was there a need for you to investigate Kakashi's whereabouts? I asked you to create shadow clones to create a large number of consumables to exhaust Kakashi's physical strength and chakra. Who asked you to investigate? It was a mess." Hinata did not discover Kakashi's whereabouts with the supercilious eye. He immediately shouted to Sasuke, "Sasuke, watch your step. Kakashi is below." It's too late. Kakashi's arm appeared under Hinata and Sasuke's feet at the same time. The arm grabbed their legs and instantly dragged Hinata and Sasuke underground, leaving only their heads exposed. Hinata. Too careless. Kakashi had wanted to kill Naruto and Sasuke several times before fighting Hinata. Although Hinata guessed that Kakashi was underground, Naruto was protected by shadow clones and he was strong, so he naturally thought that Kakashi would only attack Sasuke. But who would have thought that Kakashi even included Hinata? And with a simple C-class ninjutsu, he was able to wipe them all out. Heart beheading jutsu is a ninjutsu used to trap people. The conditions for using this technique are a bit complicated, so it is not a mainstream ninjutsu. But once you are hit by this technique, it is very difficult to escape. Hinata tried it. There was a lot of chakra in the surrounding soil, and the cohesion was so strong that Hinata could not break free with his strength. But for a Hyuga family ninja, most of the trapping ninjutsu are useless. Hinata used chakra to destroy the chakra in the soil, and in an instant, he jumped out of the soil and landed on the ground. Kakashi was destroying Naruto's shadow clones. Hinata saw this and forced Kakashi to retreat, and at the same time shouted, "Naruto, let a few shadow clones dig Sasuke out." And Naruto replied at the same time, "Okay." Hinata smiled at Kakashi and said proudly, "That earth release just now consumed a lot of chakra, right?" Kakashi. Although the heart beheading jutsu is only a low-level ninjutsu, it can trap a genin like Sasuke without leaving chakra in the soil. But after all, Hinata has the strength of a jonin. If he doesn't use chakra to make the soil harder, the heart beheading jutsu won't be able to trap Hinata. Kakashi rolled his dead fish eyes and said weakly, "I didn't expect you to learn revolving heaven, really. I'm so tired." Hinata immediately suggested, "Why don't you let us pass, Kakashi-sensei? It would also save him some face. After all, this is just a test. Kakashi can't kill Hinata and the other two, so there are a lot of restrictions. As long as Kakashi can't block Hinata's movements, no matter what moves he uses to deal with Naruto and Sasuke, Hinata will save them. If it was a real life and death battle, Naruto and Sasuke would have died long ago, leaving only Hinata, who can't beat Kakashi in a one-on-one fight. But if he let Hinata and the other two pass now, then where will Kakashi's dignity as a teacher go? At least one of them should be tied to a pillar." Seeing that Kakashi seems to be serious, Hinata was a little annoyed. If he knew earlier, he would have discussed the tactics with Naruto and Sasuke yesterday. Although Kakashi is cold, he is still a jonin. Seduction jutsu won't be so easy to trick Kakashi. While they were talking, Sasuke has been dug out by Naruto. The two of them stood beside Hinata. Hinata looked at Kakashi with a supercilious eye, and at the same time, laid out the tactics. Kakashi-sensei has very little chakra, and his left eye is consuming a lot of chakra. If we fight a war of attrition with him, the final victory will be ours. He might even be hospitalized for a few days. Kakashi complained. Are girls nowadays so uncute? You guys can't really want to beat Sensei to the hospital, right? At the same time, Kakashi said in his heart, after the test, it's time to go to the hospital to check on his kidney. Naruto shouted hurriedly. Leave it to me. Multiple shadow clone jutsu. Naruto's shadow clone jutsu was endless. Hundreds of shadow clones pounced on Kakashi, scratching his nose, face, body, and lower body. They almost tore Kakashi apart. They really tore Kakashi apart, but it was only Kakashi's shadow clone jutsu. Hinata rolled his eyes and shouted. In the forest. Hinata, Sasuke, and Naruto ran into the forest. Hinata and Sasuke were in front, and dozens of Naruto were behind them. Naruto's shadow clones couldn't hold on for long. As they ran, they turned into smoke and disappeared one by one. Why is there a shadow clone jutsu? Naruto made a hand seal and said, release. The two Naruto looked at each other awkwardly. One of the Naruto quickly fell to the ground. Kakashi released the shadow clone jutsu and wiped the sweat off his forehead. He said in a relaxed tone, finally caught one. We can tie it to the pillar now. Bang. After killing the Kakashi in the forest, Sasuke frowned and said seriously, another shadow clone jutsu? Hinata covered his mouth and exclaimed, oh no, where's Naruto? Sasuke looked back and said coldly, don't tell me we've been tricked. Hinata clenched his right fist and punched his palm. He said hatefully, damn it, Sensei Kakashi must have been among the Naruto's shadow clones. We've been tricked. Hinata rolled his eyes. As expected, Naruto was tied to the pillar by Kakashi. As for that heartless bastard Kakashi, he was squatting on the log that Naruto was tied to. Hinata waved and said, let's go and save Naruto. Sasuke nodded. He had already seen the real purpose of this survival exercise. Naturally, he wouldn't leave Naruto alone. Chapter 40. Naruto had already woken up. When he saw Hinata and Sasuke running over, he immediately shouted, Hinata, Sasuke, quickly save me. Teacher Kakashi, this bastard, actually plotted against me. Kakashi squatted on the round log and rubbed Naruto's hair. His forehead protector had already been pulled down. Only his right eye was exposed, revealing an unscrupulous smile. He said to Hinata and Sasuke, hey, Naruto is now tied up. There are only two of you left. Coincidentally, I only have 2 bells. So, congratulations, you have both passed. Kakashi smiled very happily, but as for what he was thinking in his heart, only he himself knew. At least, in order to protect his reputation as a teacher, he had put in a lot of effort. Naruto, this soft persimmon, was now being squashed by Kakashi, completely at the mercy of Kakashi. In fact, Naruto's strength was not considered weak, but he was stupid. Sasuke suppressed the excitement in his heart and turned to look at Hinata, asking, what should we do? When Hinata watched Naruto, the thing he hated the most was that, when fighting, both sides would always talk endlessly. Not only did it take a long time, but it also dragged the plot. Hinata would not talk nonsense with Kakashi. When Sasuke's voice fell, Hinata's hands formed the chakra fist and shouted, Naruto, don't be afraid. Naruto had seen this move of Hinata's. How could he not be afraid at this moment? Naruto used all his strength to struggle and shouted, Hinata, don't. Quickly stop. You will kill me. Let me show you. This time, it was really 4 twos with 2 kings, 20 gods air strike and 8 trigrams mountain breaker. Hinata completely ignored Naruto's cry and decisively punched out. The blue chakra fist disappeared in an instant, and 5 chakra rays blasted out in an instant. One of them was aimed at Kakashi, while the other 4 shot in 4 directions, blocking the space around Kakashi. When Hinata showed the king bomb, Kakashi had already opened his forehead protector and revealed his left Sharingan. In an instant, he saw the trajectory of the 5 mountain breaker attacks. Boom boom, boom boom boom. The forest behind Kakashi instantly exploded. The power of the explosion was like 5 missiles washing the ground. When the smoke dissipated 5 big holes, The surrounding trees were destroyed by the aftermath of the explosion. Some were uprooted, and some were directly blown to smithereens. Kakashi looked back, cold sweat dripping down his forehead. If he was hit, he would really die. Sasuke took the opportunity to save Naruto, and the three of them stood together again. Huff huff huff. After using 2 ultimate moves in a row and fighting for so long, Hinata was also a little tired. Even so, Hinata's current chakra was still more than Kakashi's. This was the disadvantage of lacking combat experience. Hinata used up a lot of chakra, but he didn't even hurt Kakashi's skin. It was just that he hurt some of his internal organs. No matter how powerful the ultimate move was, it was useless if it couldn't hit the enemy. Kakashi looked at the three of them helplessly. Although Naruto and Sasuke were much weaker, Hinata was very strong. In a situation where he couldn't kill, Hinata and the other two could really drag on until the chakra was exhausted. If that was the case, it would be really embarrassing. Hinata was also deep in thought at this moment. Sometimes people are very helpless. For example, we will always inadvertently become the people we hate the most. When Hinata watched Naruto, other than Shimura Danzo, the only people he hated the most were Shinobu's 2 Naruto advisors. But now, Hinata was determined to become Naruto's advisor. When Hinata watched Naruto, although he hated the two sides talking endlessly during a fight, sometimes he had to say a few words. Hinata looked at Kakashi with a serious expression and said seriously, "Companions must be saved." Naruto chimed in, "Hinata is right." Although Sasuke didn't say anything, it was obvious that he supported Hinata. Kakashi thought of something and was in a daze for a long time. Then he gave a thumbs up and smiled. "Congratulations, all 3 of you have passed. Class 7 will start the mission tomorrow." Naruto jumped up and shouted, "That's great." Hinata sat on the ground. "Fighting is too tiring. I have to carry out the mission. I have to take care of the children. I have to catch the tiger. I have to buy things for the neighboring village. I don't want to fight." Hinata looked up at Kakashi with stars in his eyes. He said with a face full of expectation, "Sensei Kakashi, to celebrate the establishment of Class 7, shouldn't you treat us to a meal?" "Okay," Kakashi said with a smile. "You guys go eat barbecue. It's my treat." Just as he finished speaking, Kakashi turned into smoke and disappeared with a bang. It was a shadow clone. "Hinata, Sasuke, Naruto. Do you think you can deal with us like this?" Hinata stood up and said, "Let's go. Let's go eat barbecue." Naruto said weakly, "Sensei Kakashi has already left. Who's treating?" Naruto did not have any money anyway. Hinata snorted, "Of course it's Sensei Kakashi. We are Sensei Kakashi's subordinates, and he promised to treat us. Although he's not here, we can put it on credit and let Sensei Kakashi pay for it." Sasuke frowned and said, "Put it on credit? Would that work?" Hinata raised her chin and patted her chest as she promised, "Because I'm the eldest daughter of the Hyuga family, I still have some reputation and credibility in the barbecue shop." Of course Hinata had some reputation in Shinobu. She used her status as the eldest daughter of the Hyuga family to put it on credit, and said that Sensei Kakashi would pay for it. The owner of the barbecue shop believed her without a doubt. In the past few years, Hinata had spent a lot of money at the barbecue shop. "I, Hinata, am a big spender." The owner of the barbecue shop was very enthusiastic. After Miss Hinata became a genin, she brought her teammates to the barbecue shop to celebrate. The owner of the barbecue shop even gave them several plates of meat. As for the reason why the owner of the barbecue shop gave them the meat, that was because he wanted to treat them to a meal, but Hinata righteously rejected it. As the eldest daughter of the Hyuga family, how could she eat and drink for free without paying? This meal had to be treated by Kakashi. Left with no choice, the owner of the barbecue shop could only give them a few more plates of meat as a token of his sincerity. Among the 3 of Hinata, Sasuke's appetite was the smallest, followed by Naruto, and the one with the biggest appetite was Hinata. Since someone was treating them, they didn't panic. Hinata completely let go of her appetite and ate a big meal. She didn't know how many months of Kakashi's salary it would cost. After eating and drinking to his heart's content, Naruto leaned on the chair and held his stomach with a satisfied face. Sasuke wanted to ask Hinata about training. Today's test could be said to have destroyed Sasuke's self-confidence. Kakashi was a jonin, but Hinata's strength was not much weaker than Kakashi's. How could Sasuke accept this? Chapter 41. Although Sasuke wanted to ask Hinata for advice, Sasuke really couldn't open his mouth. This was not just a matter of face. In the era of Sasuke and Hinata, Uchiha and Hyuga were originally enemies. Before the Uchiha were destroyed, Uchiha Fugaku and Hyuga taught Sasuke and Hinata a lot that they must surpass each other in the ninja school. Hinata naturally also noticed the hesitation on Sasuke's face, but Hinata ignored him. Anyway, Naruto and Sasuke will become gods in the future, so what's the matter if they are weak now? Then what is our Miss Hinata doing? Hinata was barbecuing meat. In fact, Hinata was already full. These barbecued meat were going to be taken back for Hanabi and Niji to eat. Anyway, it was Kakashi's treat. Kakashi has been single for nearly 30 years. He became a jonin at the age of 12 and worked in the Umbu for several years. Usually, he didn't need to spend money. Over the years, he didn't know how much savings Kakashi had saved. Hinata calculated Kakashi's savings. With Kakashi's savings, it was enough for him to eat and drink for more than 10 years. In the future, when he works under Kakashi, he won't have to worry about food and drink. After eating the barbecued meat, the three people left and Hinata took the barbecued meat home. Hanabi was 7 years old this year. She made the same choice as Hinata and went to the ninja school. But today, the ninja school was closed. Hinata sent the barbecued meat to Hanabi and made out with her for a while, then went to find Niji. In fact, Hinata didn't know if Niji was at home. If he wasn't, Hinata could only eat the barbecued meat by himself. Bang bang bang. As soon as he walked to Niji's small courtyard, Hinata heard the sound of wooden stakes. Big brother Niji. Lord Hinata. Niji stopped his training and walked over. Hinata passed the barbecue to him and smiled sweetly. I passed the genin exam today. Our sensei invited us to eat barbecue. This is for you. Niji took the lunchbox and smiled. Congratulations. Hinata and Niji were sitting in the corridor. Niji was eating barbecue, and Hinata was talking about today's survival drill. Feeling that the time had come, Hinata suddenly said, Brother Niji, let me tell you, Mr. Kakashi is really unreliable. He said he would treat us to barbecue today, but he ran away himself. In the end, we still had to pay on credit. Niji. Why do I have a bad feeling about this? Hinata glanced at Niji and continued. I heard that Kai-sensei is Kakashi, sensei's old enemy. Can you ask Kai-sensei to talk to Kakashi-sensei? Sure enough. His bad feeling came true. Niji knew Hinata well. Under Hinata's sweet, cute and well-behaved appearance, there was a dark heart. Niji couldn't help but feel sad for Kakashi. He didn't know how much barbecue Hinata had eaten, but Hinata still brought it back. This was obviously to let Kakashi spend money to avoid disaster. Niji hesitated. You can talk to teacher Kakashi tomorrow. Hinata looked at Niji with a rotten wood can't be carved expression and asked, Has teacher Akai treated you to a meal before? Niji said honestly, many times. Although teacher Akai is a bit stubborn, he is still a good person. Hinata sighed and said, Why can't I meet such a good sensei? Alas! If teacher Kakashi doesn't pay the bill, what should I do? Turning his head to look at Niji, Hinata said faintly, I heard that if many people persuade a person together, the effect will be very good. Brother Niji, you can ask Akai, sensei to tell some shinobu jonin about this matter, and let them persuade Kakashi, sensei to pay the bill together. In that case, teacher Kakashi, sensei will definitely pay the bill. Niji couldn't help but worry about Kakashi having a subordinate like Hinata. He was afraid that his future days wouldn't be easy. Hinata was a narrow-minded person. Of course, Niji would only hold this sentence in his heart and would never say it out loud, so as not to be hated by Hinata. Niji once asked Hinata why he always beat Sasuke in the physical combat class. Niji originally thought that Hinata wanted to let the name of Hyuga be better than the name of Uchiha. But Hinata's answer was, Brother Niji, do you remember when I was 5 years old? You took me out shopping, and we met the Uchiha brothers? Sasuke snorted coldly at me at that time. Because of this matter, Hinata beat Sasuke in the ninja school for 6 years. So Ningji couldn't imagine how many meals Hinata had to eat Kakashi to make up for the psychological damage caused by the Kakashi escape incident to Hinata. As a matter of fact, Hinata not only ate Kakashi, but also made the whole Shinobu Jonin circle know about Kakashi's escape. Hinata patted Ningji's shoulder with her small hand and said with a smile, "Brother Ningji, I'll leave this matter to you. By the way, Choji, Shikamaru, and Kiba should have also passed the ninja assessment. I want to see them." Okay. It's not enough for Kakashi's old enemy, Akai, to know about it. This must be publicized to the whole Shinobu Jonin circle. How could Hinata let Kakashi escape successfully? He personally said that he would treat them to barbecue today. If Kakashi really refused to pay, Hinata will definitely make Kakashi famous in the ninja world. From now on, Shinobu's copy ninja Kakashi is dead, and the one alive is Shinobu's escaped ninja Kakashi. Hinata still remembered that his ninja path in the original manga was "I have always been straightforward. This is my ninja path." Although he learned it from Naruto, sometimes it is quite useful. If you have something to say it and do it. This is my ninja path today. Hinata respected the ninja path, first went to find Ino and Sakura, and then went to visit Shikamaru, Choji, and Kiba. During the whole process, Hinata only asked one thing. "Did your sensei invite you to a meal?" Invite? I really envy you. Let me tell you, Kakashi, sensei invited us to a meal, but he ran away halfway, and we came out of the barbecue shop alive on credit. Back home, Hinata thought of another thing. Tomorrow, Class 7 will gather to do the task, and Kakashi will definitely be late. Hinata sighed. I'm so tired. I have to treat Kakashi. I have to think about what trap to use to deal with Kakashi tomorrow. Kakashi, who was reporting to Naruto 3 generations in Naruto's office, obviously didn't know that if he didn't go to the barbecue shop to pay the bill on time, he will lose the title of copy ninja and become a famous escape ninja in the ninja world. 3 generations rubbed his temples and whispered, "Kakashi, you are late." Kakashi dared to swear that this time it was absolutely not intentional. I went to the hospital. I went to see if there was a problem with the viscera. I just don't know if this old man 3 generations will believe this excuse. Bah. This is not an excuse, this is the truth. Kakashi took out the treatment list of Shinobu Hospital from his ninja tool bag, and put it on Naruto's desk, and said weakly, 3 generations, Sama, it's a work injury, please reimburse me. 3 generations. Chapter 42. Shinobu Ninja Registration Form Name, Hinata Gender, Female Date of Birth, December 27th Capricorn, Age 12 Ninja ID, 012612 Personal Introduction. Well, too many, one form can't fit all of them. There was also a photo attached. In the photo, Hinata was pure and cute, with a sweet smile, and a harmless appearance. From the photo you can't see that Hinata's heart is black. Hinata is obviously a kind and pure little girl. 3 generations blew out a mouthful of smoke, looked up at Kakashi, and focused on Kakashi's abdomen. What should I do if I can't hold back my laughter? Cough. It's better to hold back. I can't lose Naruto's prestige in front of my subordinates, and I can't laugh at my subordinates and sprinkle salt on their wounds. A test for Shinobu Kiba, an elite jonin of Shinobu, the famous copy ninja Kakashi, suffered a work-related injury. No matter how you look at it, it seems like a joke. But Kakashi was really injured, and he even went to Shinobu Hospital. Now, even the receipt and treatment form issued by Shinobu Hospital was on Naruto's desk. And he even asked 3 generations to reimburse him. Well, if Kakashi didn't want to embezzle a sum of money, then he was really injured. After listening to Kakashi's report, 3 generations thought for a moment and said, Kakashi, since they have passed your test, then I'll leave them to you in the future. Especially Naruto, you have to take care of him. Hinata's strength is beyond imagination. 3 generations remembered this matter in their hearts. Hinata went to the ninja school for 6 years, so 3 generations knew Hinata quite well. As for Hinata's character, how to describe it, it should be considered as heartless. In fact, The three generations were not worried about such people. Children who grew up in a peaceful environment would not have too much ambition and darkness. The three generations were actually worried about the Hyuga family. Hyogo was quite sensible. Over the past few years he had been well behaved. Not only did he send his 2 daughters to the Ninja Academy, but he also sent all the children of the Hyuga family to the Hyogo Academy. The most powerful thing about the ninja school is not the quality of teaching, but the brainwashing. However, there were still many old farts in the Hyuga family. Those people were of the same generation as the three generations. They might not have deep feelings for Shinobu. It was a good thing that Shinobu had produced a genius. But this genius's surname is Hyuga, which is not a good thing. Especially the current Shinobu, among the ninja families, the Hyuga clan can be said to be the dominant one. Some people saw Hinata's talent, and it was inevitable that they would have some thoughts in their hearts. The three generations rubbed his temples. He already felt that his energy and physical strength could no longer keep up with the huge workload of Naruto. He could only hope that the 2 brothers Hyogo and Hisashi can suppress the Hyuga family. Shinobu is currently in a shortage of manpower. If there was no bordered soil in Rin, Kakashi would have been the best candidate to take over Naruto. But now, Kakashi has been decadent for a long time. He is not strong enough, and he is not responsible enough. Once the 5th generation is chosen, it is very likely that Shimura Danzo will rise again. This is not what the 3 generations want to see. Jiraiya is unrestrained, and he doesn't want to be Naruto. Tsunade is also suffering from hematophobia, and he can't even continue his ninja career. The Nine Tails incident caused Shinobu to lose a lot of backbone. Kakashi's generation is not fully mature, and Naruto's generation is just growing up. The 3 generations is actually under a lot of pressure. In fact, he doesn't really want to suppress anyone, he just wants to maintain the balance of the village and not let one force dominate. But who doesn't want to be the only one? Naruto is actually a very offensive job. For example, the 3 generations offended a certain narrow-minded person. Knock knock knock. Hearing the knock on the door, Hinata went out of bed and opened the door. Yo. Hanabi, you came to see your sister. Hinata picked up Hanabi and couldn't help but complain. Hanabi, you seem to have gained a lot of weight recently. Hanabi blushed and said softly, Sister, father said that he wants to celebrate with you tonight. Putting Hanabi on the bed, Hinata sighed helplessly. So troublesome. Celebrating Hinata becoming a genin is of course a good thing, but the Hyuga family celebration is very cumbersome. Hinata is the heir of the Hyuga family. Every year on his birthday, the Hyuga family will send gifts, and the birthday party alone will be a big one. Now that Hinata has become a genin, although it is only a small step in the ninja's life, if it is to celebrate, the elders in the family will be there. Hinata also likes to be lively, but that's among the same generation. If the elders are present, it will not be lively. Especially the elders in the Hyuga family, they pay the most attention to etiquette and respect. Putting the troublesome matter behind, Hinata pinched Hanabi's little face and asked with a smile. Hanabi, have you been good at school? Hanabi nodded her little head, and then as if she thought of something annoying, she slightly frowned. It's just that Shinobu Maru in class is a little annoying. He seems to have learned a ninjutsu from someone recently, and was scolded by the teacher. Shinobu Maru? Ninjutsu. It can't be that he learned the seduction technique from Naruto. Hinata sucked in a breath of cold air. Shinobu Maru, just you wait. When 3 generations die, see how this old lady will deal with you. Hinata has never been so eager for Orochimaru's plan to destroy Shinobu as soon as possible. Kill 3 generations. Kill 3 generations. Kill 3 generations. Look at the perverted grandson taught by the old man. That's right. There's also Naruto. Wait for death tomorrow. Moreover, Hinata also thought of something. Although Hinata didn't read Bojuan in his previous life, there seemed to be a rumor on the internet that Hyuga Hanabi and Shinobu Maru seemed to be together. Bah! I don't agree. Hinata's eyes were murderous. 3 more people were on his blacklist. In addition to Uchiha Sasuke, Hinata Takuma, Hyogo and Kakashi, there were now 3 generations, Uzumaki Naruto and Shinobu Maru. One taught his grandson bad, one taught his follower bad, and the last one was not a good person. Uncle Snake, whether I can beat up Naruto's grandson or not, it all depends on whether you're strong enough. This was really an eye for an eye. 3 generations were still thinking about how to suppress the Hyuga family, and Hinata was already looking forward to his death. In the original work, in the 3rd qualifier of the Chunin exam, Hyuga Niji against Hinata, it was 3 generations who did it. Hinata in the original work suffered such a serious injury. Therefore, one must be kind and determined not to have any bad thoughts. This is called good and evil will be rewarded in the end. 3 generations' grandson was thinking about Hinata's sister. You see, now retribution has come. Seeing that it was almost time, Hinata held Hanabi's small hand and went to perfunctorily. Yes, there was no mistake, just perfunctorily. Chapter 43. Early the next morning, Hinata didn't take any ninja tools, just carried a small backpack with a kettle, tea set, pastries and other things in it, and went out. The main source of income for ninjas is doing tasks. The tasks that ninjas can do, from taking care of children to assassinating daimyo. Ninja tasks are divided into 5 levels, S, A, B, C, and D. Generally speaking, genin can only take C and D level tasks. And a novice ninja like Hinata can generally only take D level tasks, including but not limited to taking care of children, delivering letters, buying things, doing farm work, and so on. Hinata has been mentally prepared for this, and is also looking forward to it. Also, Naruto, you wait for me. When he arrived at the task assignment office, Naruto and Sasuke have already arrived. Hinata was already prepared for Kakashi to be late, but who would have thought that Kakashi would actually be on time? But being on time is as hateful as being late. The first task of Team 7 is picking apples. Kakashi led Hinata and the other 2 to the apple orchard, and sat down under an apple tree. His right hand has already taken out Intimate Paradise from the ninja tool bag. His right eye glanced at Hinata and the other 2, and said weakly, "Our task today is to help pick apples. You 3 divide the area. Good luck." Naruto and Sasuke frowned. This is not a task for ninjas. But the arm can't twist the leg. After the 2's face changed, they began to work obediently. Hinata waved to Naruto and said with a smile, "Naruto, do you want to know why I am so powerful?" Naruto quickly nodded, and Sasuke, who was about to pick apples, also stopped at this time. Hinata smiled very cutely and said, "Naruto, if you can help me finish my part, I will teach you a practice method. I guarantee that it will greatly increase your strength. How about it? This deal is not a bad deal." Naruto was overjoyed when he heard this. "Really?" Hinata nodded sincerely, patted Naruto's shoulder, and said affirmatively, "Tell me, when have I ever lied to you?" Naruto looked at the apple orchard, scratched his head and said, "But this place is so big. I don't know when I can finish it." Hinata said with disappointment, "Don't you know Shadow Clone Jutsu? You can let Shadow Clone help with the work." Naruto's eyes lit up and said, "Yes. Why didn't I think of that?" Hinata cheered. "Remember, using the Shadow Clone to work was very fast. Naruto, you can do it." Although Kakashi is the Jonin of Hinata's trio, and although Hinata's trio call Kakashi Sensei, for Kakashi, Hinata's trio can only be regarded as his subordinates, and there is no master-disciple relationship between them. Kakashi's task is more to lead Hinata's trio to complete the novice task. Generally speaking, the relationship between Jonin and Genin is the relationship between captain and subordinate. But if the Jonin is willing to make the relationship between each other go further, he can also teach Genin ninjutsu and guide them to practice. In this way, there is a real master-disciple relationship. Kakashi is obviously not ready to guide Hinata's trio to practice now. After all, the shinobi world has been peaceful for a long time, and Hinata's trio has just graduated. Now it's better to hone their mind instead of directly grasping powerful strength. Hinata doesn't want to do the task stupidly. With Hinata's current strength, it's easy to guide Naruto. For example, climbing trees and treading water. Of course, guiding Naruto is just incidental. Taking revenge on Naruto is what Hinata really wants to do. Hinata found a river and fetched some water with a kettle, and then went to pick up some dry branches as firewood. and then walked to a tree next to Kakashi and sat down, and said to Kakashi, "Kakashi-sensei, do you want to drink tea? If you want to drink, use the great fireball to help make the fire." "Kakashi," Hinata tempted. "I also brought pastries. Drinking tea and eating pastries while reading books, that's the real enjoyment." Kakashi decisively used the great fireball to make the fire. Hinata boiled water and made tea while watching dozens of Naruto picking apples in the distance, and couldn't help but sigh. Life is really lonely like snow. Hinata knows that after the shadow clone is removed, the fatigue of the shadow clone will be transmitted back to the body. Naruto uses so many shadow clones to work, and when he removes the shadow clone, it's estimated that he will be exhausted to death. Hinata has already thought about it. Today he will sit under the tree, calmly drinking tea, and sit and watch how Naruto dies of exhaustion. "You taught your younger brother bad things." After the water was boiled, Hinata made a pot of tea and sent it to Kakashi. Although Kakashi is also on Hinata's blacklist, he is still Hinata's direct superior. After all, Hinata can't do anything to him now. There is also Hinata, Takuma, and Hyogo. "You all wait for me. Wait for me to take power. Teacher Kakashi, please have some tea." Hinata poured a cup of tea for Kakashi, and also gave him some pastries. Before going to bed last night, Hinata laid on the bed and carefully thought about it. It's still not good to offend Kakashi now. It's better to be in charge than to be in charge. Kakashi is now in charge of Hinata. Thinking about it this way, Hinata suddenly realized that what he did yesterday wasn't very proper. If Kakashi holds a grudge, a man knows when to yield and when to stand tall. What's the big deal about making a cup of tea for his teacher? Kakashi obviously didn't realize Hinata's black-hearted nature. He drank tea, ate pastries, and read a book. He always felt that it was great to have a female subordinate by his side. Hinata sat at the side and drank tea. After a while he felt a little bored. "Teacher Kakashi, how many books did you bring? Can you lend me one?" Kakashi was a little embarrassed. He scratched his head and said, "This book isn't suitable for children." Hinata took a deep breath and pretended to be surprised. "Could it be, Teacher Kakashi, the book you are reading is not suitable for children?" Today's weather is so good," Kakashi said perfunctorily, then scratched his head and said, "This is a love story. Children won't understand. Although there are some action scenes, there is very little description." Alright then. Hinata actually guessed that Kakashi wouldn't lend the book to him. He sighed helplessly and said, "Looks like I have to bring a book tomorrow." Since he couldn't read, he would enjoy how Naruto died of exhaustion. Naruto still can't perfectly control the shadow clone jutsu. A shadow clone jutsu can only last for more than a minute. Then Naruto began to create unlimited clones and pick unlimited apples. The work was very efficient, but Naruto was already panting and out of breath. That was great. In less than half an hour, Hinata realized that Naruto had finished his part of the work and was now doing his part. What about Sasuke? Sasuke was no longer the cool and handsome guy from before. Not only was his body dirty, but he was also very tired. Munch munch. After eating a dessert, Hinata licked his lips. The aftertaste was endless. You're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.